recording as well. So what are the plans that I have for your batch today? So these are the items that we need to discuss. So I've just tried writing it down, all the things that are pending for your batch. No hurry, right? So we'll try to close as much as we can today and tomorrow. If required, then maybe one session either next week or Saturday or Sunday, right? That should be it. Okay. So what are the things that are left over? One is Log4j that we will see today, and synchronization. This is one more topic that is left, over. So these two are the topics. Basically, they are related to Selenium. Somehow we could not complete them last time, so we will have to cover it today. We will cover that, and then we'll talk about the page object model framework. Okay, so that we will talk in detail, and then we'll talk about extent reporting, and then auto IT and robot framework. After that, Jenkins, Git, keyword driven, and Cucumber. Maybe we will try to cover them in the tomorrow's class. So we will see, right? So no hurry as usual. Uh, just waiting. Oh, hi Sneha. Are you able to hear me, Sneha?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, wonderful. So we are just about to start. Okay. Are you able to see my screen as well?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So let us kind of get it started then. Okay. So now today I would like to show you, a few things. What I'll do is I will just go ahead and switch the workspace. Okay, in case if you have multiple workspaces, okay, in case if you have multiple workspaces, how do you switch your workspaces? In case, when I say switch workspaces, see, you might be writing a workspace, creating a workspace. So why do we create an Eclipse workspace? As you all know, that is basically, that is where your Eclipse is going to store the projects, right? So now what I will do here, in case if you want to switch, there are multiple options. So, I mean, the option is, see here, switch workspace. You can just switch to another workspace here. Okay, so this is what is workspace. And if you want to create a new workspace, you can write that down over here. See, I have here what Eclipse workspace, or maybe I want to create a new workspace. I can go ahead and create it, right? So say browse. Why I'm creating a new workspace is just, I'll tell you. Weekend batch, right? In the weekend batch, Eclipse workspace is there. I will create a new workspace, for today and tomorrow. So that, because I would like to import the same project, that's why. I will say here Selenium workspace. Selenium workspace. So this is a workspace that we want to use for today's session. Ideally, we will not be changing like this, just because I already have a project here, the same Maven project. I want to show you how do we import the project also. Okay, so this is a workspace creating. Now I have this Maven project that I shared with you last week. I will just try to import the same project. Okay. By the way, were you able to import the project? Anybody tried importing the project that I shared?
Yes, sir.
You imported, Sukrita?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So I just would like to show it to you for everybody, so that they also will be able to import it. So let us wait for the Eclipse to come, and then I shall import it. So let us wait for the Eclipse to start. It's taking a little bit more time. Okay, so let it start. So as I said, what are the what is going to be the agenda for today? So we'll talk about Log4j, synchronization, action class, and page object model, and extent reporting. Let's see how far it goes. Now, first I'll show you, importing a project into Workspace. I already have a project. Now I would just like to import it. So we will see how do we import an existing project into the Workspace. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. So once the Eclipse starts, then I'll be able to show you that. So where is our project? This is the project that I've shared with all of you last week over the Google Drive. So this is a project. It is already zipped, right? So now what we will have to do is we just have to import it. Okay, there are two options. One is you can import the zip as it is, or you can extract it, keep it as a folder, and then import it. Okay, so what I'll do for now is I will just copy this and maybe put it on to the desktop. Okay, and then we will extract it over here. This is the same code that I've shared with you last week. So now just here, this is a Maven project. Open this. This is a project, as I was telling you. This is what is a project, right? So last week, if you remember, we were able to successfully run that, right? So what are the test cases that we executed last week? You remember that if you just open this over here, right? So we were trying to run the tests, yeah, and all the code which is there in that package name is this package, everything which is there inside that. So now if you want to run it, how do we run it? If I want to run it from the command prompt, just you don't have to do anything. You don't need Eclipse. Eclipse is only for development, as I said to you. So we are here now in the command prompt, and Maven is already configured on my machine. Just to check Maven-version, that will tell you which version of Maven is installed, and then you can just straight away go ahead and run Maven from here. So whatever test that you want, that will be executing. So it is going to show me the Maven version which is installed. So Sindhu, you might not be, in a position to straight away, carry it because you missed the last sessions. So just try to understand. Okay, so don't have to worry. Even if you're not understanding is also fine. Okay, Sindhu, just try to flow with this. Okay, so now last week I shown you in case if you want to run any Maven project, what is the command for that? Mbn test. That's it. Enter. So the moment you say Mbn test, only thing that you need to ensure is you need to be in the directory where your pom.xml is available. So pom.xml is present over here. So now this will start the execution. Just see here, it's going to start the execution. See here, it's going to execute. So now if I share this, I've already shared this code with you. So you just copy that, extract it, and then you should be able to run it. Straight away you should be able to run it. Now see, it's about to launch Chrome now. It's about to launch Chrome. Let it run. So it is about to run now. Let it run, and then I will also show you how do we import the project into the Eclipse. By the way, how many of you have tried Sukruta? You said you were able to run it both from command prompt as well as from Eclipse, Sukruta?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wonderful. How about you, Netra?
I tried only with the Eclipse, sir. Today I'll try with command prompt.
Yes, the command is Mbn test. You need to install Maven first on your machine.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, remember that. Okay. Sneha, did you get a chance to run that, Sneha, last week?
That's what when I tried with Eclipse, sir.
Okay,
But
with
not
Eclipse,
command
with
prompt.
Eclipse it's working?
Yeah.
And then it's fine. It will surely work with command prompt also. Don't worry. So just give a try.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Prem, you were not there. You missed it. And who else? Netra, Sukruta, Anish, you were also not there last week, or were you there?
I was not there actually.
Okay, so by
But
any
I'll
chance, have you executed this Maven project?
yeah, through Eclipse now, not CMT front. I'll do that on CMT front.
Okay, sure. Please do that. Yeah. So this is just Eclipse. Remember, Eclipse is used only for development, okay, not for execution. Yeah. So now it is running both the test cases. Intentionally, we are passing one test case and then we are failing one test case. We have put assert false there. So that is what one test case will pass and one test case will fail. That's okay. It is about to start the second test case. Second test case is running. After logging in, we are intentionally failing it. That is fine. At the end, it will show us, how many executed, how many passed, and how many failed. So 1 executed, 2 executed, there are 1 failure. Total runs 2, failure once, errors 0, and then basically passed 1. Okay, so if you just want to see the results now, what you have to do, go back to this. Now we know where are we storing our results. Go to src, test, results. And then go to this results.txt. Here it is writing pass and failed. So now, okay, so one small task I'll give it to all of you. See, every time whenever we are running the test case, it is appending the results. That is fine. We want the results to be appended, right? But the thing is, for every session, I should not be seeing the word results. Whatever I executed earlier, I should not be able to see that, right? I don't want to see them. I only want to see whatever results that are there for this particular execution, right? So for that, what we have to do is, when you start the suit, when you start the execution, there is a method called as on test start, right? So when the method starts, on test starts, that is the first method to be executed. Now what you do there, in that, you just overwrite, meaning whatever, okay, let us go to that method and see what is there. I will show it to you. So let us go to that right from here itself, src test base class, src test java, and then say com dot selenium dot, okay, selenium dot base. Okay, in the base class dot java, so what is there? Let us open it, and then if you just see here, okay, Netha, you were asking me about listeners. I'll talk about that. On start, when you start the execution, it is going to basically, execute this method. This is the first method to be executed, right? Because it is having a method name as on start, and this is what will be pulled by your listener. So what we will do here, when the execution starts, I will just say this. What is that I'll say? I will just say write results to file. So what we want to do, we want to basically override. So go to this method. So what this method says, this method basically says you are appending every time. If you remember last week we discussed what it's going to do. If you give the argument as true here, every time it is going to append. So what I will do in the beginning is, I will call this method. And what we will do this time is, we are not going to append it. In the beginning, when the test starts, on test start, or on start, sorry, not on test start, on start. So what I'll do here is, I'll take this file, go to this file, and then I will not append anything. I will not append. And then I'll say, I won't write anything to this. I just write, starting, or say writing the results for this execution. I will also show you how do we put the timestamp, so that you can put the date and time, flash close. So if you write like this, what happens? It is going to overwrite to whatever it is already having, because I'm not saying append here. And then it becomes a fresh file now, because whatever was there, it was overwritten. And then after that, what it will do is, after that, it will start writing the results. So now this is what we have. Let us run this and see. Okay, are you getting what I'm trying to do here, Sukruta?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm doing is, in the beginning of the execution, I'm just trying to overwrite to this file. So what it will be overwritten? It will be overwritten with this text, writing the results of this execution. Okay, and after that, it will start writing the results one by one, one by one. So if this is our file now, this is our file, right? So let us try to do that now and see whether it's able to overwrite or not, just to check once. So I will go to the project, right? And then I will execute this, execute the same thing. So now let us see whether the file is getting overwritten or not. The moment the execution starts, it will overwrite that. Let's see that. So this is very important. These are the small things that you should be in a position to do it yourself, because you should think, okay, every time it is appending, I really don't want with the word results, right? So what I want to do, I want to execute, right? So what happened? Let us see. There's some error here. It's a little bit color is a little dark, fluorescent color. Yeah. Go to properties. In case if you want to change the color, change the color. This will become a system color, right? So where are we executing? We are executing here. Compilation error. So what is the problem here? Okay, there's an exception that it throws, sorry. So whenever we are basically writing to a file, that will throw an exception, right? So what we have done, we have just simply written, this is the problem, this is what happens when you write the code without any IDE. Okay, so basically this code is a risky code. This code itself is a risky code. So now what we'll have to do, we'll have to handle that in a try-catch block. So what exception it is going to throw now? I will say any exception. Okay, so let us copy that code. Yeah, this is what it is, right? IO exception should be fine. A flush and close also I will put it in the try block. All right, so this should basically help it. Let's see. So now what is happening there is basically we were, we did not cover that inside the try-catch block. That is why that method throws an exception, right? So you have to see now. See, whenever you run it, it's going to compile. Catch without try.
I think you didn't close the.
Yeah. Sorry. Good catch. So this is what it is, right? So now we are not going to write the code anyway like this, right? So this is just to show you how do we run it from the command prompt, right? So good to fix code like this also, believe me, right? Without IDE, when you actually try to fix the code, that's when you will really learn. Oh my God. Okay, I think we are simply spending time here. I'll just take it into the Eclipse and then I'll show it to you. Don't worry. So what we will do now is we will remove this for now. Whatever was there, I'll just remove it. And then I'll just say what system.out.println. This is what it was earlier. Let me just keep it as it is. I will just say the entire execution is starting. Okay, this is what it is. So now this is our project. This is our project, right? So let us try to import this project into our Eclipse. So how to do that? Just here, go to, you need to import, right? Say import project. There's an option. Then which project you want to import? You want to import a Maven project, right? Maven project. Just select Maven. Existing Maven project. This is what you have to select. So once we learn Git tomorrow, I will show you how to check out the Maven project from source code management, SCM. So I will say existing Maven project. Next. Where is our existing Maven project? That is on our desktop. Let us import it. So even if you have a core Java project with TestNG without a Maven, you will be still able to import it. In that case, you just select general here, and then from there you will have an option for from the existing file system. You just select and browse that project. So if I share any project with you, either it's without Maven or with Maven, just extract and keep the folder ready. Just select that project. That's it. See, browse. Which is the root directory? You have to browse it. Where is our root directory? It is on our desktop. Go to desktop, Maven project. See, this is a Maven project. This is the root directory, meaning inside that you should find everything, right? So just say select. And it has selected that, then say finish. That means pom.xml should be there in that. So it is kind of importing now. Okay, so please, straight away, whatever projects I'll be sharing, just you can import it into your Eclipse and then start using it. Okay, so it is importing now. Let it import. So once it imports, then I'll show you, how do we make that change to that on start method so that every time we get a fresh results file. See, now the Maven project is getting imported. It won't take time this time because in my local repository, where will be the local repository created? Can someone tell me? Sukrita, tell me where will be the local repository created? Yeah, Sukrita. Yeah,
M2, sir.
exact. So excellent. So this is the place, right? Thanks, Netra. So what happens is when you basically, create a Maven project and run it for the first time, your Maven is going to pull out all the dependencies from the Maven central repository and store them in the .m2 folder by name. There is a repository. This is what is local repository. If you open that, you have all the code here. Okay, so that is where all the projects are already there. Then we are good. And whenever you import any project, just make sure that there are no errors here, 0 errors. Warnings are okay. So if errors are there, then you will not be able to run your code. Okay, so now this is what is exactly your code. Whatever we wrote and exported, all of that is there now back. So let us go to src base here. This is our base class. Now making the changes into an IDE will be far easier than writing it ourselves onto the Notepad++, because there you will not get auto completion option, you will not get the errors on compilation, etc. So now this is what it is. Let me just write that now. So where was that code? We were trying to write it at the on start. This is a method, right? And what is it we are trying to write here? This one. This is one we have to write. So just copy. Let me copy this and come to on start again. Backward, I'll have to search. Control F is basically to find here and search, or say Control O. If you remember, it will show you all the methods which are there, right? You can just go to on start like this straight away. Go here. This is where it is. So on start, I'm going to write this. After that, this is what it is. Now see, here it is very easy for us to see the errors and all. I will just write what, as we discussed. I'm just going to write a string here, starting, or say results for this execution or current execution. So this is going to show us the results for the current execution. Now when you write, it's going to throw an exception. That's what was the problem. I will say surround it with try catch. Right, so this basically is going to throw an exception, that is write method. And even the flush and close method also we're going to show throw an exception. I will have to put them as well inside the try catch flow. And this also is going to throw an exception. So ultimately, if you see here, what exceptions it is throwing: IO exception, IO exception, IO exception. Everything is IO exception. So now what I will do is fw.write, fw.write, as well as fw.flush and close. All of them I'll try to put here. Okay, so let me. Hi, Sindhuja, are you able to hear me, Sindhuja?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we kind of just started around 20 minutes back. I'm just discussing, the same thing, right?
Okay.
So you haven't missed much. You wanted to come to Institute, Sindhuja, sorry, but only 2 of you were there, you and Netra. So that's when I had to take it from remotely. Okay,
Sure,
so
sir.
hope
Yeah,
it's
okay.
fine. Yeah, so sorry for that. Just attend it remotely, and if you have any questions, let me know.
Sure, sir. Yeah,
Sure. Yeah,
thank you.
thank you. So this is fine. Let us close this now. Okay, the catch is also closed here. So what is happening here? See here, file f is equal to new file f this, write, flush, close. That's all. Everything is good now. Now let me run it. Either you can run it from here or you can run it from the command prompt. Doesn't make any difference. So where are the results? Just see here, result src. So this is a folder representation, as I told you last week. If you want to see the folders, you should better see it from here. Okay, if you want to see the code, you should see it from there. In the results, you have results.txt. This is what we have. Now let us run it. I go to pom.xml and then say right click and then run as Maven Test. So when you start this execution, the first method to run is what we've discussed last time, that is on start. So that is the first method to run, and that method will run as run as Maven Test. Okay, so just say run as Maven Test, then you should be able to run it. Now let us talk 5 minutes about the listener once more, just to give a overview. Some of you missed it. Now see what it's trying to do is it's going to compile and then run, right? So it is going to compile means when it compiles, it produces a dot, a class file once again, right? So inside the before suit, all of that is fine. Everything is fine. Now this file is overwritten. Oh, okay. I don't know. Did we? Sorry, my mistake. Let it run. So it will run 2 test cases and it will not overwrite because. Can someone tell me why it's not going to overwrite? Just see this method and tell me why is it not overwriting?
You have given true over there, f comma true.
Exactly. So basically, this is also we are trying to append. So intention was not to append. Okay. So intention was not to append. So remove this so that it will freshly write this the whole text to the file, and then you will start seeing the results below that. Okay. Let it run. We will wait anyways. All right. So now I'll just remove this. Then we should be good. Okay. So now see the results here. So this is what it has written. It has appended. Now we don't want to append. We want to overwrite. So run as, format.xml, run as Maven Test. For the last time we're doing it. Now see what it will do, it's not going to append. Okay, so it's not going to append. And now it is going to overwrite to this file. So you will see the result straight away. Okay, see here, this is what is happening, right? It has already returned to this. So now what it will do, it will start writing the results. If you do like this, so what will happen every time the results will be, you will be having a fresh results. Okay, so these are the small things that I would want you to think through, and then all the cleanup activities and all that, those are the items that you should basically put into this, either on start or on end. Even when the suit is going to end, maybe if you want to do some cleanup activities and all, you can do that time also. Right? Ideally, before your execution, you should clean up everything and then start. Okay, so now this is what is happening. If everything is fine, we should start seeing the results there. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, that is a failed test. Don't worry about that. So this is what it is. All right. Is this clear now? How do we write the results to this? Yeah. So why it is saying as fail here? Because this test has failed. Rest all is fine. Now can you see here, every time we are seeing a fresh results. Next time when I run it, it will also run it again. So now results for the current execution. Maybe if you want to put date and time here. So there is a date class which is already by default available in Java. You just need to create the object of it. Date is equal to new date. It will show the complete date. And then you can append the date over here as a string so that you will see the execution for that particular execution. I'll show you that also later. For now, this is what it is. Now, Netra is asking about the listeners. So what are the listeners? Listeners means when the testng file is getting executed. So how are we running our project? Right click on your POM or testng. Ultimately, POM is going to trigger testng only. Right? So when you use the testng.xml file, in the testng.xml file, so we have a listener. So what is a listener? Listener is an interface. Okay. So which listener we are going to use here? Which listener of testng we are going to use here? There is a listener called as iTestListener. So your base class will implement this iTestListener. What is the use of this? The use of this is this listener will basically keep a track of whatever is getting executed. When the execution starts, so what your listener does is, your listener will do like this. When the execution starts, it will keep a watch of what method is getting started. Right, execution starts here. So then listener will keep a watch. It will know everything, which method is getting executed, which method is getting passed, failed, and is over now, which method is going to start now, like that. Whatever is happening during the execution, all of that will be tracked by your listener. So listener is basically, the methods of the listener are, they're just like a watchdog. It keeps on watching what is happening, what is not happening, because ultimately your testng, we are feeding the methods, right? Whichever is having @test, we are taking them and feeding it. When you feed, it makes an entry in the listener, and then it keeps a watch. You don't have to worry about the implementation. That's the beauty. The beauty of Java is, if you just know which one to use, that is sufficient for you. Okay, so now here, so let us see now. So which is the listener we are using here? The listener that we are using is iTestListener. This is an interface. Just implement this interface. Once you implement it, you will get a lot of methods like this. Right? These are the methods that you get. See, methods of listener. On finish. So what this will do is, whenever the method entire execution gets over, then this method will be executed. On start, whenever the execution starts, then this method will get executed. Whenever a test fails, this is not required for us. On a test failure, whenever a test case fails, this method will be executed. Whenever a test is skipped, then this method will be executed. Whenever a test is starting execution, then this method will be executed. Whenever a test is getting passed, then this method will be executed. That's it. So what we want to do when a test is passing, we want to write the results. What we want to do when a test fails, we want to capture the screenshot, and then we still want to write the results. Right? So what we want to do in the beginning of the execution, we want to do this cleanup activity as we just discussed. What we want to do at the end, whatever you want to do. So this is what you will need to implement. Once you implement this, testng will take care. You don't have to worry. In the testng.xml file, just give this extra information saying that where is the listener implementation available. That's it. Where is the listener implementation available? It's in our base class. Then once the execution starts, the listener will keep a track of what is executing, what is getting passed, what is getting failed, right, etc., etc. And whatever code that you write in the listener methods, that code gets executed. That's what we have just now seen. On start, this is what is happening. On finish, if you want to do, see on finish what is happening. I'm just saying here the entire execution is getting completed. See whether it's executed or not. There is a system.out.println is there or not. Just see here. At the end, it should be there. Just here it will say that the entire execution is, see, the entire execution is getting completed. Okay, so like this, you can keep a track of what is, getting executed, what is getting passed, what is getting failed. If you want to get a hold of that information, then you have to implement the listener. Netra, is that clear to you now?
Yes, sir. But
Okay.
for these methods, no need any testng annotations, right?
No, not required, because these are the ones which are taken care by listener.
Okay, in testng, whatever we mentioned in that XML, that sentence will be taken care.
Yes. If you just write, this is a class where the listener is implemented, that is sufficient.
Okay, sure. Thank you, sir.
All right. Excellent. So this is where we were last week. Now we have come to, so we have to start this week's session. So any other questions, anybody? Sneha, do you have any other questions? Sneha?
No, sir.
Okay. Sukruta, do you have any questions?
So when we actually the result was true, but in us we were checking assert false, so
Right.
the test case was getting failed over there. And
Right.
when I ran that particular, this pom.xml, so the build is success, but in error it says that there are test errors.
Exactly.
Right, and if I change it to assert true, I don't find that. So how is that okay? We are getting it as true, but we are trying to check it as assert false.
Exactly. See, always remember, you have to put assertions in your test case. I told you earlier also. If you don't put assertion, then it will simply run this. And it will not say this has either passed or failed. It will just say executed 3. That's all. It will not say this has passed or failed. If any assertion passes, then only based on the assertion, whether the assertion is passed or failed, then TestNG is going to mark your test cases are passed or failed. Okay, so it is mandatory for us to use the assertions. Based on that, the results will be written. Okay, so if you don't use this assertion as assert false, if you use it as assert true, this also will pass, this also will pass. Build also is successful, that's fine. Build means, see, compilation is fine, then it started executing this code. That's what is build is. If there is some compilation error, build itself will fail, which happened last time for us when we made a mistake of not handling the exception. Right, so build is basically entire code gets compiled and then the build is ready and then it will start executing your @test methods. So that is what is build is. Assertion failing means that test case is failing. Build should not fail. Remember that build failing means some compilation errors. You're making something mistake. After that, build should be fine, and then your test case are passing or failing. That's fine. That is based on your expected result. If if assert false is here, that means this test case has failed. That's what is the only meaning.
Okay.
You got it, Sukruta?
Yeah, sir, got it.
Wonderful. So this is where we are now. Okay, so now I had to rush a little bit. So hope it's clear now. So this is where we have reached now. We have reached to the position where we stopped last week. Sindhuja, do you have any questions, Sindhuja? Sindhuja, are you there? Did you get a chance to run this code, Sindhuja?
Yes, sir. Actually, this code actually I didn't do that, sir. This week I'll do that.
Please do that. Right. So you have to do it. Yeah.
Yes.
Please do that. Yeah. So still, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Sure, sir. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. So now let us continue with the next topic. So what is the next topic? Next topic that I'm going to discuss here is something called as log4j. It's a very important topic. Very small one. Again, the beauty is you don't have to worry about the implementation. It is already available to us. We just have to use it now. So what is this log4j? What are the things that we're going to learn here? Is now see here. So for debugging, in case if any test case fails, this is a today's session. Okay, focus now. In case if any test case fails, now what we want to do, we want to maybe see what is happening. Maybe we want to go to the logs. So these are the logs here on test. The test case by name. This is getting started, passed, right? This is getting stopped. So if anything fails here, we'll get to know. Okay, this is where it is failing, right? So the log will help us to debug. Log is mainly there for debugging. Remember that. Okay, see here the test case. Inside the before test method, inside the before class method. The test case by name, this is one is getting started, this is passed. If anything, any exception is there between this, then we can get to know, okay, this is started here, then the exception came, then it's failed. That means the error is in 001 test case. So always the logs are there for helping us on debugging. So now, what is this log4j? What are we doing here? We are writing system.out.println and then we are writing it to the console. Right? This is not the right approach. Now let us imagine I give this code to my customer and saying that we are a testing company, we are developing frameworks. I developed this framework and give this framework to the customer and ask customer to use it. run it for his testing. Now he will all start seeing all this debugging information. He says, boss, I don't want to see all this debugging information. Can you please remove that? In case if he's asking you to remove that, what you have to do, you have to go to the code, and then wherever you have put system.out.println, you will have to start commenting that out, right? Just see here, wherever you have put now, wherever you have put here system.out.println, you have to comment it like this. Again, go here and comment it like this, right? So if you don't want to see the logging information is only for during the development, and even at the end also it is fine. But he says, boss, can you just remove it? Or in our case, if you use system.out.println, there is no way to remove that unless you go back and comment in the code. Not only that, I also want to write this logs to a file so that I can go back and check the file, right? Because this console information will be only there for that particular execution. If I start another execution, this console, whatever is there, that will be lost. Right? I maybe want to see my logs persistently, meaning I want to see the logs. I want to run and then come back, and in the morning I want to see what and all logs that are generated. That means we are trying to write to a file also. So what is our intention here? Our intention is we want the logs to be in such a position wherein we should have a flag, either on or off of flag, logs. That is not there in the system.out.println. You have to go back and comment the code, right? On or flag is not there. Then we also want to write the logs to the console as well as we want to write to the file, right? If this is the, and then we are not following some standard format pattern here. We are just printing whatever text we want, right? So just see the logs here, how they're getting printed. So somewhere I'm using this, somewhere I'm using this. Maybe, there's no timestamp, there is nothing here. And maybe if I add some more space and all of that will get printed. There's no proper, pattern in which we are printing the logs. So that is where the company, thanks to them again, Apache. So far, what are the open source projects that we have used from Apache? Can you tell me? One is POI. All of you remember this POI jar? Where did we use this? Yeah, Netra, do you remember that POI?
Excel.
So,
Yes. So for reading the Excel files, we have used the POI jar. So then we have used what? Maven. Last week we discussed about Maven. It's a build tool. It's a dependency injection tool. It will pull out all the dependencies from the internet and dump it into our local repository, right? So Maven is also from Apache, thanks to them, and that's open source. And then now whatever we're going to learn, log4j, this is also from Apache. So what you have to do is you just have to download this log4j jar and then use this log4j jar for writing your logs. So what is the difference between using log4j and writing system.out.println, right? So as I said, there is no flag and there is no particular pattern in which it is getting printed, right? So if you want to switch off, there is no flag. So using log4j, you can easily achieve it. Not only that, parallelly, you can write to the console as well as you can write to a file. Okay, so let us see how do we use this log4j. Again, the best part here is you don't have to know the implementation. The jar is already given to you. You just have to know which object you have to create and use it. That's all. So when you use log4j, for log4j, the main thing is there are three things. One is the logger. Okay, so one basically component of log4j is logger. That is one object that you need to create is of the logger. And then there is something called as appenders. And then there's something called as pattern. I will just give one line definition for all of them. Logger. So what the logger does, that means there's a class called as logger and you have to create the object of this. What is the importance of this? What this is going to do? You should only know that. You should know what it does and how to use it. That's it. Internal implementation is not required because we are using a third-party jar. So what this logger does is, logger is responsible for capturing the logging information. So when you create the object of the logger class, that object is basically kind of a listener. What it will keep doing, it will basically keep on capturing whatever you want to write the logs, either to a console or to the file. So this is the one. This is going to capture all of that, okay, and keep it inside it. And then what it will do, it will capture and pass it on to the appenders. So what appenders are going to do, as the name itself indicates, the logs, whatever you pass by the logger, it will keep on appending to either console or to the file. That's the role of appender. It will keep on appending. What is the role of a pattern? Pattern is just to tell that in which pattern you want to print your information. Maybe I want to print like this. Say the execution starting. This is a text I want to print, and then maybe I want to print some star here, and then I want to print the timestamp. Maybe I want to print that this is 6th of July 19, and then time and all that, right? So I may want to print the information in such format. You might have seen your server logs, right, while debugging some of the defects. There you might have seen, it prints all this information, right, proper information. Our logs also should be like that. Now how to do that is by using the log4j. So what you have to do, add the log4j, create the object of the logger, that's it, and then tell that which is the appender you want to use, where and all you want to append the log, console as well as file, and then in which pattern you want to write. Only these three information. Again, this is not required for you to know. I'm just taking extra time and explaining this, okay? Now, for using log4j, you need two things. One is download the log4j.jar, first thing. Second thing is, where do you tell which is the logger, which is the appender, which is the pattern, and all that. For that, log4j has one properties file called as log4j.properties. This is a special file. That means this is a property file exclusively used by your log4j. Okay, so this is a file you have to have. And then in this file, you mention, okay, what is my logger? What is my appender? What is the pattern that I want to see? And where do I want to write the output? I mean, logs. I want to write to a file as well as I want to write to a console. You have to mention where do you want to append, which is the logger, and then some other information in which pattern you want to print. That's it. If you give all of that in the properties file, your log4j jar is going to refer to that. That's all it is. Okay. Now, one important thing is this logger, which is responsible for capturing the logging information and pass it on to appenders. There are some levels of logging. So what are these levels? I will only talk about few levels here, right? So when I say all, what happens? It is going to whatever logs you want to write, all of that will be written, whatever level it is. Then there is a level called as info. Info means it is going to write. If you see, for your information, you might be writing something. I'm starting this, I'm stopping this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, right? Whatever we have put system.out.println, that is our information logs. So all that information logs will be written. Then there is a log level called as error. If I put the log level to error and then execute my code, it will only capture the error logs. Error logs means whenever there's an error comes, then only it will capture and that only it will write. Rest all it won't write. Okay. Similarly, there are other levels, and then finally there's a level called as off. If you put that level to off, no logs will be captured. Okay. So what you have to do is in your log4j.properties, you have to tell which level you want to use. If you use all the logs of all the levels will be written. If you use info and below all of that info, whatever is there, even error, warnings, all of that will be written. Debug, trace, there are a lot of levels. And if you put it to error and other levels also will be, which are below that. Debug, trace, there are a lot of levels, 7 levels of that. So it will be written. But ideally what we will use info, so that we are able to capture all the information logs as well as the error logs in case if they come. And if you use error, info logs will be omitted. That's why most of the practical purposes we will be mostly using info. See, how it works is you will be creating the object of this logger. Say logger, that is L. L.info if you write. See, I'm writing here info log. L.error. I'm saying here error log. Like this. So if I set the log level as info, then it will capture. In case of any error, it will capture this also. In false, it will capture. If I set the log level as error in my properties file, then it will omit this log. It will only capture this log. That is what will be printed. Okay, I would show you this. Don't worry. So now let us quickly implement this log4j. So for this, what we have to do, we have to download the log4j jar, and then create this log4j properties file and add the information about all the what logger, what appender, what pattern we want to use, and then just start writing the logs. That's it. I will quickly show you this now. So for downloading the log4j, what we should do now? Tell me what we should do. How we should download the log4j now?
From Maven.
Excellent, because we are already using Maven. Maven is our dependency injection tool. We don't have to manually download it now. So what you do, go to maven pom.xml and then add the dependency for your log4j. That's all. So I feel we have already added it. Let us quickly see that in case if we have added it. If not, we will add it. Go to the pom.xml file and then add the dependency for log4j. See, I have already added it. That means log4j jars are already available to your project. Where are they available? Go to Maven dependencies and see here, there will be a log4j for sure. Apache log4j. Where is that? STng is there. Log4j. Can you see here? This is a jar 1.2.17. This is what we have added as a dependency. So this is already available to us. So only thing that we need to do is what? We have to create the object of the logger class. So where do we want to create? We want to again create it in the base class so that it is available to all our child classes. Okay, so let us create the object of the logger class now. What I will do now, how to create the object of the logger class? Only one code that you need to remember. That is public static logger is a class. We are trying to create the object of this logger class. Public static logger is equal to, in the logger class there is a static method called as logger dot get logger. Let it load. Get logger. So there is a, see, basically we are trying to make use of the logger class which is available in the log4j. That's all. Just like the WebDriver driver, right? We are going to make use of this. But how do we get the object of the logger class? Is using the static method which is called as get logger. Use this get logger static method, and then you have to tell in which class you want to write. I want to write it in the base class. You can either write it as base class or base class dot class. This is the syntax of creating the object of the logger class. Just remember this one line of code. What we are trying to do is there's a class called as logger. We are creating the object of it by using this method, which takes a construction argument in which class you want to write that. Even if you remove this also fine. Anything is fine. That means we are trying to create the logger object for this class. If I create by mentioning this class, it is applicable to all the child classes as well. Okay, so get logger. Yeah, so let us see that now. What is happening here is which one we have to import it, right? So which one we have to import? Log4j we have to import. Okay, see here, it is importing a wrong one. Okay, so just be careful. You have to import a log4j, logger. Just here, move the mouse and then import. Where is that? Apache log4j. Import this. Okay, now the error is gone. Import the Apache log4j. You have created the object of the logger class. That's it. Now using this logger class, you should be able to write the logs. How to write the logs? Just here, I'm going to write a method here. Public static void write logs. That's all. Just call this method. Now wherever you want to write the logs, you can call this method now. That's it. So what you want to pass to this, you want to pass a string, message. That means whatever string that you want to write to the file or console, you just pass it there. Just see here, what I'm doing here, I'm using the logger dot info is our level that I want to write. MSG. So whatever information that I want to write, I will see from now onwards, if I want to write the logs, what I'll do, I will call this method. and pass the string. Whatever MSG means string argument. Any message that I want to write, I will pass it to this method, and that will be written using log4j. That's it. That's so simple now. So now what we will do here is, wherever I'm using system.out.println, now where and all we are using that, many places we are using it. Just keep a watch. See, a lot of places we are using the system.out.println here. So now what I will do is, I will remove the system.out.println and then say write logs. So then I'll pass this message. Instead of using the system.out.println, now it will use this message, and then it will start writing to the, using the log4j, it will start writing to the appenders wherever you want to write it. So let me just replace it, Control F. I want to replace system.out.println with what? Write logs. Let us replace everything. 12 occurrences are replaced. Now see, instead of using instead of using system.out.println, I'm using write logs. That means it is going to write. But it is going to write. This is a message I'm passing. That means it will call this method, and whatever string we are passing, it will go to this argument, and that argument is what we are writing. What is the level here? Info. Now, as I discussed, where is the log4j.properties file? Right? So where we have to tell that, this is the appender, this is the logger, and all that. So for that, what you have to do is, you just have to keep the log4j.properties. Always remember, the log4j jar will try to look for the log4j.properties in the source. Always remember that. Now we are using src test, right? Not src main. We are using src test. So come to this src test resources. This is where you have to keep the log4j.properties file. src test resources. Any resources that your jar, your Maven is making use, you have to keep it over here. If you are putting it in the code level, application level, you can put it over here, src main resources. The location where you have to keep your log4j.properties file is here. Remember. Now what are the contents of this log4j.properties? I will show you this. You might not understand this initially. It might look too big of information, too much of information. For now, first let me write it, and then I'll show it to you, explain it to you. Right click here and say new file. You want to create a file here. So what is the file name? File. Always remember, the file name for this log4j is always log4j.properties. This is a file name. In this file name, just paste it. Save it. Okay, so what are we trying to do now here? Okay, you are not required to understand this, believe me, right? This is not at all required for you to understand, but still 1 minute for each line I'll take and explain. If you understand, that's good. If you don't understand, if you know how to use it, that's sufficient. So what it's going to tell? What is the log level? Info is our log level. These are the properties and these are the values. That's all. The property names are separated by dot. That's why they are looking a little big and confusing. Otherwise, this is just like our properties file. Do you remember our properties file? See, we are having property and value, property and value. Right? It is just like that. Property names are little big. That's all. So log4j.root logger, info is a level. I want to write it to a file, and I want to write it to the console. std out is a console. That's what is the meaning. For appending it to a file, as we discussed, we need appenders, right? So what are the appenders that are available? There are already a lot of default appenders available. I am saying that for appending to a file, please use this appender, which is nothing but a class inside your log4j.jar. This is again inbuilt information. Don't worry about that. I'm just saying that use this file appender. Using this, keep on see inside this file append. This is a class basically. arg.apache.log4j.class. This is a class name. If you go to this class name, what they'll be doing is they will be exactly doing the same thing whatever we have done. We have written a method to write the logs, right? Appending. So that's what it would be there. But we don't have to worry about that. We just have to use it. That's it. Then where is the log file where I want to write the logs? This is important. Where is the log file? Under src test results, you have to have a file called as logs.txt. Just check whether we have it or not. Last time only we've created. See, nothing is there inside that as of now. This is a place where I want to write the logs. Now, what is this max file size? Means if you start writing the logs to it, it will keep on writing. And it might happen that it might basically cross a particular size. right? It will keep on writing, right? So it will keep on writing that to the file, and it might cross a lot of size, and this might slow your system. That is why we were telling that max size is 1 MB. Up to 1 MB, keep on writing to this file. Which file? This file. After 1 MB, what you have to do? You create a backup of this. Now logs.txt is there. It will create a logs1.txt. And then once 1 MB is reached, it will start writing the logs to logs1.txt. After logs1.txt will reach to 1 MB, what it will do? It will come back and delete the old logs, and then start writing to logs.txt. Again, 1 MB is reached, come to logs1.txt, and then start writing the logs to it. So at any point in time, the maximum backup files will be only one. Either you will have logs.txt and logs1.txt. That's what is the meaning of that. That's it. Then pattern, we were talking about the pattern. Logger, appender, and which pattern you want to write. I want to write in this pattern. That is, I want to print the timestamp. And then what is the level of log? 5p here, p here indicates, 5p here indicates what is the level of the log. Okay. And then whatever message that I am writing, I am passing. Which message I am passing now here? We are passing, let us say, whatever system.out.println that you're using, or whatever write logs that you are writing. See here, this is a message, right? This message will be printed. So I'm telling that print the year, month, date, hours, minutes, seconds, and after that print the log level, and then print some star, and then whatever message I want to pass, print that, and then give a new line. That is what it is. Don't understand this, just know it sufficient. And you want to append is true, append false. If you means every time, every execution, it will create a fresh file, like the way we did it for results. If you want to keep a backup of your old files, you say true. If you know this much, that is sufficient. Same file I've been using almost since 10 years now. You can also use it. Only thing that changes is the location of the file. That's all. Even if you want to write it to some physical location, you can write it. Even if you want to write it to a database, you can write it. Even if you want to send this logs on an IP and a port, syslog, you can do that. Log4j has different appenders. File appender, DB appender, then console appender. Then you have some listeners. What is that? Socket appenders, wherein you can send the logs onto a port and IP. There you can capture the logs. There are a lot of. It's a huge area, so let us not worry about that for now. Then I'm writing to a file. Then what I'm doing, I also want to write the logs to a console. See here, std out means console. Here it is file, here it is console. I want to write to the console. What is the target for console? It is not a file, it is a system.out. Then what is the layout for that? This is the pattern layout. Same thing. Then what is the pattern? This is a pattern, whatever we discussed. So that means this, using this properties file, it is going to write to a file as well as it is going to write to a console. In this pattern, we should start seeing the logs now. Okay, so don't worry about absolutely about this. You should only know this much of information. That's it. Now what I will do is I will try to show you a working example now. What we will do now is I will run one test case. Which test case is there? Our tests are what we are running the login. In login, we have two tests, right? Now let us start writing the test cases. Let us see what it will do.
So can you ping that code?
I will surely share that. I will share the entire project once again today.
No, I'm just trying parallelly.
Okay,
so
all right. So I'll just share this. You have to keep it in where, where you have to keep it?
Log4j properties.
Yes, that is under SRC test resources. Okay, so that is where you have to copy. This is a file. You can just give a try. Now let us execute the test cases. Straight away, let us execute. Okay, I can use POM, I can use TestNG, no problem. Right, so let me run as Maven Test. Let's see whether it is writing the logs or not. Now keep a watch on the console and see what happens now once the execution starts. Okay, now these are the logs which are coming from other projects. Leave them. Now when our execution starts, then we will start seeing the logs like that. See here, our test execution is getting started now. Okay, and then can you see now info is a level, and then can you see the pattern, and then whatever system.out.println that we were printing, now it is coming in a particular format. This is the beauty of using log4j. Okay, so can you see here? Now every information is coming here in the form of a proper log. Not only this, the logs are organized, and not only that, they are persistent. You can see them written to a file as well. This is the advantage of writing using log4j. The best part is if you go and set the log level as off, you will not see any logs. That's the beauty. You don't have to go back and comment every line of code. You just set the log level as off, it will comment out everything. Let us see now. See, this is the second test case getting started. This is passed. So whatever system.out.println was there, we are just trying to organize it in a proper pattern. That's it. Nothing much. Internally, whatever we were doing manually, the same thing is done by log4j. And now you will see a proper results here. Now, let us go back and see whether it is written to the file or not. Which is our log file? This is our log file. Just do a refresh and then logs.txt. Can you see here now? Your logs have been written to this also. Your logs have been written to this also. Right? It is saying the test case is getting passed. Somewhere it is saying, yeah, passed. Now, one test case has failed. When a test case has failed, where are we writing that? We are not writing it. Why? Because whenever the test case fails, whenever the assertion fails, the log level we have to use is error log level. But we have only written for the log here. We have only written for the info logs. We have not written for the error logs. So let us write the method to error logs. That's all. Just say here public static void. I am saying here write error logs. So what we want to take now in the case of error, I don't want to print the string. I want to print the entire error object, right? So what is the error object? I am going to take it like this, throwable T. So throwable, do you remember during the exception handling we discussed, what is this throwable class? Tell me. Recollect back, almost 1.5 months back, exception handling. What is the throwable class? Netra, do you remember?
We are trying to create our custom exception.
That is right. We are not going to create a custom exception here. We are just trying to capture whatever exceptions that are there. But what is a throwable class? That is the parent of your all the exceptions classes. Do you remember that? Sukrut, are you able to recollect?
Yeah.
So throwable. Netra, are you able to recollect?
Yes, sir.
So if you remember, exception handling that we discussed. So we have two things. One is throwable class. Throwable is the main class. This has two child classes. One is error. Other one is exception. Correct, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And then in the exceptions, runtime exception, and then IO exceptions, right? Lot of exception classes that we discussed, right? And in runtime, we have seen a lot of exceptions like array index out of bound, then null pointer exception, number format exception, class cast exception, all of that. So what I'm doing is for a method, if the argument is of the type runtime exception, then you will be only able to pass the objects of runtime exception. If the argument is exception, then you can pass only these ones. If the argument is throwable, polymorphism, if I replace argument a dog with animal, I can pass any animal object. That is why the parent most class is what we are taking here. So that any object of either exception or error, I should be able to pass to this. Okay, so just remember like that. The right error logs, you are taking the throwable class object. So what I will do here, I will just say logger dot error. That's all. So what I will take, I need to pass an object. I will just pass this object T. That's it. So this is what is going to write the error logs. Okay. Now, where are we getting the errors? Where are we getting the errors? Whenever there's a test case failure, on test failure. See here, this is where we have to write the error logs. That's all. Whenever the test case fails, I don't want to write this. I mean, writing the results to the file is fine, but I want to write the error logs as well. So what do I do now? I will just say write error logs. That's it. Now I have to pass an object of the throwable class. Where do I get the throwable class object now? Whenever a test case fails, testng listener is keeping a watch on the test case. So this is the name of the this parameter will give you all the information. See here, arg sub 0 dot get throwable, the first method itself. What this will do is it will capture the entire stack trace when the test case failed. All that information is present here in this argument. And then I'm saying get the throwable from that and then pass it to this method. Then it's going to write the whole, exception to our file as well as to the console. So let us quickly do that now and see. For our understanding, I'm just commenting it out now. And then let us run it once again. Keep a watch. Keep a watch and see what happens here. So we are writing the info logs as well as the error logs. In the case of error logs, we are capturing the entire stack trace and writing it to the console as well as to the file. See, the thing is, we cannot do a deep dive into this. The problem is an inbuilt code. Okay, so we just need to know how to use it. That's the beauty of Java. So whatever code we have to know in detail, we have discussed that. Now this is something that is already a third-party library available. We're just making use of that and we're getting to know how to use it. So that down the line, when you design your frameworks, then if you have to write the logs, you will better use Log4j. Most of the applications which are running on Java, they use Log4j as the logging framework. This is a logging framework which is given to us by Apache. Now see here what is happening. It is writing the logs. Yes, it is writing. It is writing the exception logs also. Something has failed. That's okay. One test failed. Now can you see here? Error log has also come. Can you see here? This is the whole stack trace. So in your logs, if you see the error, that means okay, there's something gone wrong. Right? You have to immediately capture the information like that. So this is where it has failed. Right? You will get the error login. So it says that login 001 started. After that, the error came. Right, and then the login 00 error came, and after that execution stopped. Right, we don't have any other test case, that's why it stopped. Otherwise, other test cases will anyway run. So you will get to know where is the problem. You can go back and fix it. Okay, this is how we will capture the error logs. This is how we capture the info logs. If you set the log level as info, it will capture info as well as whatever levels which are below that info. That is your error also it will capture. So now what I will do here, I will go to my log4j.properties and set the log level as off. Save it. Now when I run it, your log4j is not going to capture any logs. You will not see any logs now. Just see on the console. You won't see any logs. This is the beauty of log4j. So these are not our logs, okay? These are our libraries that we are using. There, it is their logs, Maven's logs. So now once our execution starts, see here from here. From here, you will not see any logs. Nothing is showing. Can you see here? Only the browser will launch straight away. This is just some information of Chrome. Otherwise, no logs are getting seen. Why? Because we have set the log level as off. All right. Is this clear to you how to use the log4j? Any questions? I know, it's an overview that we have discussed. And the good part is you should only know this much. You don't have to understand much beyond this. If you know how to use it, that's sufficient. Any questions, anybody? Yes, Netra.
The date and time is also capturing in the logs. So is it by default log4j is?
No. It is because the pattern that we have used. See here, the pattern that you used is what? This is a pattern that you used.
Okay. Okay, sir.
You are saying that in this pattern you print me the log. See, the code to handle this date and time and all is present in this class, which is in this package. Right? You're just saying if you just want YY, you can give YY. Right? In this pattern, you're giving it. P is level, log level, and then star, and after that message, after that new line. That's what is happening. See here. Date and time, then log level, then star, then your message, and then it came to new line. Like that. Is that clear now, Netra?
Yeah. So conversion pattern that is a class. In the
That's class.
properties class?
Whatever we are using here, see, fully qualified class name.
Okay.
Package name dot class name. Package name dot class name. Appenders, pattern layouts, they are all basically classes.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Everything is abstracted and all the code is available inside the log4j.jar. The only thing that you have to do is create the object of the logger class. And once you create the object of the logger class here in the beginning, and you use the methods of the logger class, internally, the magic is done by your log4j.
Yes, sir. Got it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Sukruta, is that clear to you? Are you able to run?
Yeah, sir, I was able to run, but where we used this one, right? Like, I mean, a map, and the map was a string. So there I was getting the error, like, but
Okay.
if I come.
Yeah, basically, see, what is the argument of this write logs method?
Yeah.
It takes a string. So you have to pass a string. If you are passing a collection object, it won't take, right?
Yeah.
So what you have to do is, there is a, utility class, if you remember, collections dot, right? So there is a class called as collections. Do you remember that we discussed about it? Dot. You can convert it to a string. Where is that? Is there a method to convert it to a string? What you want to do, by the way, you want to pass the what? You want to print the map?
Yes, sir. I mean, we had that right earlier. So there I was getting the error. So I just commented it and executed. So that worked fine. I got to know that it's a map, but what we are trying to pass is what we are supposed to pass is a string.
Correct. So what you have to do, you have to downcast it. So where is our map? I am also printing that. For me, it was getting printed. Let us see here. Was it getting printed here? See here, it's getting printed. The locator hash map is this. Yeah. So this is getting printed for me. Let us see what is that. I am using. Am I converting it to string? Locator map. No, it is not. Basically, see, you can print the collections right straight away. Whenever you print the collection, it will print the whole collection object. So why are you getting error there? You should not get it. So if you just see here, locator hash map, this entire hash map, I'm printing it. Is this the way you're printing it?
I'm just giving in write logs, I'm just passing the data map. I'm not giving the.
Got it. Basically, if you pass it as an object, so then basically it becomes like an object. Now what you need to do is append this to a string.
Okay.
When you append it to anything else, it will become a string.
Okay.
Now int
then
and
this will get appended. Yeah.
Yes. Then it will get appended.
Yeah. I'll try that, sir.
Yeah. Please try that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions, anybody? I know it was totally an overview, and you might have felt that what is this? It's just taking to the overview, but that is what it is. You just need to know this much. That's it. You know how to use log4j, how to add the jars to your project, how to create the logger object, and this log4j properties, which I will share it with you. And that is anyway available on the internet. Let me show it to you. See here, if you go to Google and then just say download sample log4j dot properties file. Log4j properties file. If you just open any of the sites, so you will see the log4j properties file. That is what I've downloaded. See here, info std out, console appender, right? This is a pattern. I might be looking like I might have copied it from this website maybe long back. See, this is what is the properties file. Everybody uses the same thing, so you don't have to worry. You just copy it, and this is a complete log4j properties file. I think maybe this is the one that I've copied. Yeah, looks like. So just copy it and use it. Only thing that changes is what? The file name. That's it. Rest all, default. Copy paste. Yeah. So the whole IT industry is copy paste. I've been telling you. Just use this and run it. It should run. Any questions, anybody? Any questions, anybody? I will hold you for 2 minutes. If you have any questions, we shall take that. Prem, is that clear to you? Prem? Prem?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Sneha, is that clear to you? What is log4j and what is the use of log4j? Is that clear to you, at least, Sneha? Neha, I cannot hear you. Who else?
Yes, sir. Yes,
It's
sir.
clear? Okay, okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. Netra, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sukruta, is that clear to you? Sukruta?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sindhuja, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, if we want to write for multiple files also, it is the same case, sir.
Because you have created the logger, right? And that logger is, that's a very good question. That logger is where that logger is in your base class. So whatever is there in your base class, that is available by default to all your classes, because all our classes are extending this base class, right? So now what I'll do is I will go to this login Java. This is where our tests are there, right? So now what I'll do is, just to show it to you, just here, write logs. This method is anyway coming. I'm just saying, say, into the login underscore 001 method. You are still able to write. See here, because in all our classes we are using, all our classes are extending the base class. In the base class we have the write log and write error logs methods, right? So you can just, use them anywhere.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
So that is the reason I asked you, you have to have one main class or one base class where you want to put a lot of logic, and then all your classes should extend that, so that all your properties will come down to that. Is that clear, Sindhuja?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. Anybody else? Who else is there? Let me just. Sindhu, are you able to understand a little bit from this?
Yes,
Not
yes,
sure.
Patil. Yes.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. Yeah. Anish, how about you?
Yes, I can understand this.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you. So now one small thing I'll show you. In the error logs, what are we writing here? So we are just writing this one. But we want to write the whole stack trace. We don't want to write the one line, this thing here. So, sorry. So now see, we are only writing this, right, in the log files. Let us see here. This is what we are writing, right? So what we want to write, we want to write the entire stack trace. So for that, what we have to do is, there's a small thing you have to change in your write error logs method. Now, what is that change? I will tell you that. So let me tell you about that. So what you have to do here is, give me a second. I will just, yeah, I don't want to give wrong information. Let me quickly refer to the old project that I have. So, E drive, weekend batch, Eclipse workspace, not this. Yeah, so Maven project right here, Maven project. This is how you go to the code. Okay, Java com dot selenium dot base, and then base class. This is what is your class. So if you want to capture the entire stack trace, right? So what you have to do that is, there's one small, option for that. I'll copy this and then I'll explain to you what is this. Okay, go to your error logs method, and then here in the error logs, I will just copy this. Import this arrays. Arrays is coming from the util class, right? Now, so what we are trying to do here is, so there we were just taking the throwable class object, and then we are printing that throwable class object. So it was basically only printing the exception message. We don't want to print only the message, we want to print the whole stack trace. Now, how to get the whole stack trace? From the throwable class object, if you say get the stack trace, there's a method called as get stack trace. So this will give you This will give you an array basically. This will give you an array. Can you just see here? Stack trace element array. This is an array of this class. We don't want this array. We want to convert it to a string. Now we will get a string. In that string, because it's an array and all the elements of an array will be separated by comma and then converted as a string. Now what I will do, I will replace this comma with a new line. So that what happens is, whatever exception that we are seeing here, the whole stack trace, the entire stack trace now, there is the error, show view, console. This whole stack trace, we want this entire information, right? So this is what is given to converted, the whole object will be converted as an array, and this every line is will become an array. So and they are separated by comma. Now what I'm doing, I'm separating comma with a new line, and then once again I'm converting this as a whole string, and then I'm passing it. So that's what we will be doing ultimately. Okay, so this logic does that. Get the stack trace and then convert it into a string and then replace the comma by a new line, and then whatever you get, the whole object, you pass it to your error logger dot error, this method, this level, you will pass it. So now let us quickly run it and see what happens. Again, as I said, these are some things which are internal, and no need to go a deep dive into this, right? Because it is, if you know how to use it, that's sufficient. And as Maven Test, the whole only intention here is we want to see the error logs, not only just the error message. We want to see the whole exception stack trace. Let us give it a try now. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I have made my log level as off. Okay, if you put it as off, nothing will work, right? So I will put it as info. If I put only as error, then tell me what happens. All your info logs won't be captured. Only you want to capture only the errors, then you can put it error level and run it. Sometimes you might have heard your developers telling, can you capture me the debug logs? Can you capture me the error logs, right? So that time they will be asking you to set the log level to info or error and then run it. Now I'll tell you, you should not be putting the log level to debug. It will write a lot of logs. I'm putting it to debug, okay? And then let me run it. It will capture a lot of logs, debug logs. Internally, when you're calling Selenium, right, we are making use of a lot of libraries, Selenium libraries. In the Selenium libraries also, there are a lot of logs being written, right? And most of them are in the debug level. If you use the log level as debug, it will write a lot of logs. Now see here what happens. It will start showing minute information. Okay, once your execution starts, then you will start seeing the information. This is info, this is info. Okay. Okay, let us see what and all information it says. Okay, it is writing only info log and some other logs. There is a lot of debug logs it used to write. So let us see. All right, so now what it has done is it has written the logs here. So let us go back and see whether it is okay. Now see here, this is what I was trying to tell you. So because now we are writing the whole stack trace, in the error you will see all the entire stack trace. So this is the way you have to do it. Otherwise, it might be difficult for you. You will get to know the entire exception stack trace here. Okay, so we are writing info logs, we are writing error logs. There are no debug logs because we are not writing any debug logs. There is no debug logger.debug method that we are using. But ideally, it should have written the debug logs, internal debug logs also. I'm not sure why it's not writing. We are only using error and info. In case if you have maybe something like this, just as an information, I'm showing it to you. Public static void write debug logs. Here again you are taking string message. So then here you are writing what? Logger dot debug. If you use this method and then pass the message here, then it will write it as a debug log. Okay, so we are not using the debug log. So internal logs also should have been shown. Looks like in the latest version of Selenium, maybe they have blocked the internal logs. Only the whatever logs that user is writing, only those logs are shown. Otherwise, you would have seen the Selenium WebDriver, TestNG, and all the other logs also when you set the log level to debug in the earlier versions of Log4j. I have seen that, but looks like they have switched it off. That's okay. Anyways, for us, we will be mostly using what? Info logs and error logs. If you set it to info, it will capture everything. Let me set it to all and see what and all logs it is capturing. Let us see here. If I set it to all, let us see now what and all logs it will capture. If I've set it to all, ideally it should capture all the internal logs and all of that. Let us see that. The console. It is capturing these logs, info logs. Yeah, looks like it is only capturing the user-defined logs. Then it's good. Internal logs looks like to be hidden, so we are good with that. Otherwise, earlier when you set the log level to debug or all, you used to see plenty of logs. Internal whatever Selenium code is doing all of that logs we used to see. Okay, so now it is showing only simple logs. That's very good. Anyways, for us we will be using mostly the info as the level. So how did we manage to convert this exception, copied this and then made it as a string and then put it to logger dot error method? So this is something that you should know. Otherwise, rest all is straightforward. Only two methods to handle the entire log4j and one object and then one properties file. That's it. Okay, is this clear to all of you? Any questions, anybody? Again, overview at least is clear how to use what is what. If that is clear, that's sufficient. So, Sukruta, were you able to run it? Sukruta, were you able to run it on your machine? Yeah, Sukruta, are you there? Anybody else is trying parallelly? If you're not trying, please give a try after this, right after the class. Yeah. So now what we will do is we'll take a short break now, 10 minutes break. It's 12:03 on my machine. We will take up to 12:15 and 12:15 when we meet. The next topic that I'm going to explain is the log4j is done. Importing is also done. These two topics we've discussed today. The next
Sir,
topic
I have
is,
one question.
yeah, please.
If it reaches the maximum size, the old log will be there or
It will be there. Good question.
okay.
So what happens is we have given here as the max backup index as 1. That means what? Once your logs.txt file reaches 1 MB, then it will create a new file called as logs1.txt. If you give here as 2, then it will create logs2.txt also. So it depends on how many files you want backup. This will be there, and then one more file will be created, logs1.txt. Now logs.txt reaches 1 MB. It is like this. It's a good question. Now see what happens. So you have given by default what is your log file. Your log file is logs.txt. Your logs will be returned to this file. Once it reaches 1 MB, because that is the size that you have kept, you have given the max backup index as 1. If you give the max backup index of 0, that means it will start overwriting to the same file. If you given it as 1, then what log4j will do is it will create logs1.txt. In this logs1.txt, it will start writing the logs. And then if this reaches 1 MB, then it will come back and delete everything and start overwriting to this. Once this is over 1 MB, come back and start writing to this. At any point in time, you will have only 2 files. One original file, one backup file. Because this you are given the backup index as 1 and the size as 1 MB. If you give the backup index as 2, it will have one more file. If you give it as 3, it will have one more file. If you give it as 4, then it will have one more file. It's like that. Is that clear, Sindhuja?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, so let us take a quick break, about 10 minutes. Sindhu, I hope you're able to understand, Sindhu, at least how to use Log4j.
Yes, Patrick. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we will continue for another some more time, maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hours. So hope it is fine with you. I am not sure about your schedule. So just see if it's possible, just catch up. Otherwise, maybe you can watch videos.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are taking a break now for 10 minutes. All right. So please take a break, all of you. Thank you. Now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So let me kind of start. Yeah. So I was just waiting for others to join. Who and all is back? Let us see. Oh, people are getting reduced. What's happening? Sindhu said she will log off and then connect later. I can see Sindhuja, Anish, Netra, Prem, Sneha, Sukrita. Who else was there? Sindhu was there. Sindhu logged off. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we're all having stuff. Netra is there. Sukrita is there. Sneha is there. Prem is there. Okay, Anish is also there. I don't know. Prasanna has already attended these sessions earlier. Okay. So we are good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's okay. Let us start it off now. So we have discussed so far these two topics, right? So we are done with this. Have been done with this. Let us talk about the synchronization for a bit. So this is not a huge topic. You should just know about this, and we have already seen implicit wait, but I'll just explain that once again to you. So what do we mean by synchronization? So let us talk about this for some time. Any idea, anybody, what is synchronization? Yeah. So now what happens is, let us assume that you are writing a code. You are writing, say, your Java, your one test case you have written here. And it just says, open the browser, go to this, do this, do this, a lot of lines of code is there. And then when you say enter username, enter password, click on login button, and then you're saying that verify logout link is there or not, and then click on logout link or whatever it is. So now, but when you click on OK button, and after that you're waiting for the logout link, that means the home page to be displayed. So what happens when you click on home, OK button, the request goes to the server processes your request and then executes some code and then gives you a response back. Request and response, client server architecture, typical HTTP web application. So here what happens, the response comes back and then the page gets loaded. But here your Java code is basically running, it's running. By default, the wait time is absolutely 0 seconds. So now the speed at which your code is running, the speed at which your application is responding, we call it as application under test, AUT. What is AUT? Application under test. Remember that. It's a common term that we use in automation. So there is a difference in the speeds of this and the speed at which your application responds. So what we have to do after clicking on login button, we are clicking on the logout link. Imagine, but there's a lot of time that our application takes. But your code simply goes to the next line and wait for the logouts and then stops out. So how do we sync the speeds of this and this? That is what is synchronization. When I say synchronization, what are we trying to do here? It's a small topic. It is leftover, unfortunately for us. We should have discussed it long back. But anyway, good thing is we have made a note and then at least we're covering it. This is a Selenium topic. It's not nothing to do with framework and advanced topics. So what are we trying to do? We are syncing up the speeds of your code as well as your application response time. This is what is synchronization is. One way of doing that, the worst way of doing that is using threaded.sleep. What this threaded.sleep is going to do, this is what is going to be, basically this is a Java method. Okay, so there is a class in Java called as thread class. By default, you have only one thread, that's your main thread which is running. So whatever thread that is running, you are asking it to stop for 3 seconds. 3000 milliseconds means 3 seconds. So what happens after this line is executed? After that, you're physically waiting it for 3 seconds. After that, go to the next line, like that. So threaded.sleep will make your code to pause for some time. This is not that we want. We can still use it, that's okay. But what happens is, imagine you're waiting for 5 seconds. Imagine your responses come back within 3 seconds. Your login page, home page is loaded, but still you will be waiting for 5 seconds. Why? Because it's a physical stop. Thread.sleep, it is making your JVM to stop, pause for 5 seconds. That's what is the meaning. Okay, so are not supposed to use this. Having said that, you can use it. It is still fine, right? So it is. See, our intention is we are writing our automation framework for UI automation. We are not doing any kind of performance testing where we are really concerned about response time and all that. Having said that, if you use too many thread dot slaves and imagine you have too many test cases, say a huge suite of 5,000 test cases, every test case you're waiting 20, 30, 20, 30 like that, maybe 2 minutes in every test case, then what happens is the overall execution time shoots up, right? So that is why what you have to do is you have to avoid this as much as possible. But having said that, using it here and there is still okay. As I said, we are not doing any performance testing here. We are doing only functional testing. So this is one way of using it. Avoid using it, but here and there if you use it, it's still okay. Then the next way is there's something called as implicit wait. What is this implicit wait? Okay. There are three things that you should be aware of in synchronization. One is page load time. What is this page load time means? When you say driver dot get, what it will do, it will basically load a URL for you for the first time. When it is loading the URL to you for the first time, the page, either active time or any other page, when it's loading, for the first time, it will wait for the page to completely load. So that is why you will not get any error, timeout error, something like that when you use the driver.get. Even if the application is too slow, if you're running it on Flipkart or Amazon or any real-time application, it will still work because by default, the page load time which is set in Selenium is 30 seconds, which is mostly sufficient for most of the applications, right? So you don't have to worry about that. It will work. Mostly it will work. You don't have to change that. So there is an option to change that. You can change the page load time, but I would say we will not, mostly 90%, we will not touch it. So if you set the page load time to minus, that is -1, any minus integer value, then until the page is completely loaded, it will wait. That means there's no chance of getting any error here at all. But if you set this to minus, then if the application is too slow, if it's taking a lot of time to load, then your Selenium will wait for that much of time. Okay, but ideally, as I said, page load time is something that we usually don't touch. 30 seconds is far more than sufficient in most of the cases. We don't change this. But you should know about this. What is this page load time? This is a time that your Selenium is going to wait for the first time when it loads a page. Not when you click on OK button and then after that it is loading a home page. There it is not going to wait. Only for the first time when you say driver.get to load the page for the first time, then only it's going to wait. The page load time is by default 30 seconds, which is sufficient for most of the cases. You can change it. I will show you how to change, but it's not required. Please don't even touch that. I will show you maybe later, but no, for now I don't want to show you, right? So you should anyway know that option, but for now you will not use it. The second thing that you should know in synchronization is the implicit wait. Now, what is this implicit wait? There are two types of waits that you should know. Page load time you leave that. The implicit wait and the explicit wait. So what are the implicit wait and explicit wait? Let us discuss that very quickly. One is wait, right? So when you say wait in Selenium, we use two types of wait. One is implicit, other one is explicit. There is another one called as fluent wait. Again, we don't use it to that extent, right? I will tell you what is the difference between this and this. That's sufficient. Mainly what we use is this and this. Now, what is this implicit wait? Now, how your Selenium internally works is you have a line of code. Your Selenium line is there, Java code, which runs here. It runs this code, and then it is basically trying to do that action on the browser. Browser is, you click or send keys or whatever it is. Then you click on some button, say submit button, it is loading the home page back to you. Then next code is home page. Then, you say click on this link on the home page, but that link is not loaded yet because the page is loading. So now what you do here, you can use thread.sleep. As I said, if you use thread.sleep, lot of places you might have to use it. That's why I try to avoid it. The other thing is you can use the implicit wait. Implicit wait means what it will do is once the driver object is created, that means once you use driver is equal to new Chrome driver or new Firefox driver, whatever it is. Once the driver object is created, throughout the lifetime of the driver, throughout the time. That means once the driver object is created, till the time you close the driver or quit the driver, till the time you just have to set the implicit wait only once. Implicit wait only once, right? Throughout the life cycle of the driver, it will be applicable. Any number of test cases you run, it will be applicable. Now, so what happens here is, imagine that you are, after clicking on the OK button, you have to wait here for, let us say, 3 seconds. After some steps, maybe you're clicking on creating a customer, there you have to wait for another 2-3 seconds. Then again, after that, creating a project, there also you have to wait for 2 seconds. Maybe it's taking some time. By default, the waiting time of Selenium is 0 seconds. If somebody asks you in the interview what is the default timeout, it is 0 seconds. After, as soon as it clicks, it tries to see, right? But if it is not there, it will throw an exception. Okay. So, but that is why what we have to do is we have to basically set the implicit wait. So what the implicit wait means, this step is executed. Before executing this step, it is not going to physically wait. Imagine you are setting the implicit wait as 20 seconds. The meaning of this is, you are telling that you go and try to run the next step. Next step is clicking on the login button. That is clicking on the logout link. So, but the logout link is not available. So what your Selenium will do, it will wait for some time. After 500, after 500 milliseconds, right? That means half of a second. After half of a second, it will go and again pull and check whether that link is there or not. If not there, again wait after another half second and then again go and check. Again go and check. Max, it is going to keep on waiting for that element to come, but max timeout is 20. That means almost close to 40 to 50 items it will make. If that is still not available, then it will throw an exception saying that no such element exception. Within that, if it is available, imagine only third attempt only it has got, then it will come out, no problem. And then go to the next code. And then again here it has to wait. Again it will wait for some, keep on pulling. So this is a smart way of using the wait, isn't it? It is not physically waiting for 20 seconds. It is just pulling every 500 milliseconds. And then if there is element is available, it will take and click or send keys, whatever you want to do it. If it is not there, then it will throw the exception. It will wait for the max timeout, that is 20 seconds, and then finally it gives out, throwing the exception. That is what we have already been using it. So where have we set our implicit wait? Just see here. We have already set that in our base class. Once the driver object is created, that is here, launch browser. Can you see here? In the launch browser, polling time is 500 milliseconds. Okay, I think we already discussed about it, right? So this is what it is. See here, driver. Okay, where to set the implicit wait? Driver.manage is a method that will give you an interface of timeouts. Then that has a method called as implicitly wait. Driver.manage the timeout.implicitly wait. 30 means wait for 30 seconds. Timeout 10 minutes. Time minute dot second means you were choosing it from a enum. That's all. It is seconds. That means wait for max up to 30 seconds. Max 20 seconds is mostly sufficient. This is what is the meaning. So if I use this, I am not supposed to use any thread.sleep or anywhere up to 20 seconds. Every step is by default you're using thread.sleep. And that is not a physical thread.sleep. It is a smart way of thread.sleep. It is waiting up to 20 seconds only if the element is not found. Polling interval is 500 milliseconds. Where it is applicable, till the time your driver is quit, till the time it is applicable. And what are we doing? Before every test case, we are launching the browser, and at the end of every test case, we are closing the browser. So this implicit wait is applicable for every test case now by default. Only once you have to use it. There is no way to use a thread.sleep. Just to show it to you, our login.test, if you see here, we are doing, we are using this method. Right? After clicking on the login button, now see, I'm not using any thread.sleep here. I will show it to you. If I don't use any thread.sleep, then ideally it should fail, right? Now see, I will show you, I will go to this implicit wait and comment it out. Okay, now if I run it, it will fail, saying that it could not find the login button, logout button. Yeah, so let us run this and see it now, just to check whether the, what is the use of implicit wait. Maven test, just see it. Keep a watch, keep a watch. It's running now, and then it's going to launch the browser. It logs in, and then after that, it's trying to verify the logout link. Logout link will not be there. Then it will basically log out. See, now we have a complete framework where logs and all are getting written properly, right? So you can use the same framework as it is, and then develop your projects. Maybe write a small POC. Then just use your application. Just automate a login scenario the way we have done it for ActiveTime. Show it to your manager and show it as a POC. He'll be really happy. I'm telling you. Okay, it is trying to log in. Maybe it's a physical application. I'll deploy it on my local machine. It might be a little fast, but if you use a demo.activetime.com, for sure it will fail. See here, it is okay. I think we managed to go right. So you might think that it was more than 0 second, right? It is looking like that. It is not exactly. It is not instant. Don't think that when it click and go next and then wait it. Nothing like that. There is some limited amount of time, right? So within that, if it's not coming, then it's going to throw an exception. The documentation says the default wait time is 0, but however, it is still waiting for 1 or 2 seconds. I have also seen that. See, we have clicked on login button. It was still loading and it was still waiting, right? So somehow there is a small amount of time, especially when the page loads. Okay, but otherwise it's not there. So we managed to go to this. Now what I'll do is I will just change the URL to demo.activetime.com. Let us change that. Where I can change it, I can change it to configure properties. This is our URL, right? So I will change the URL to demo.activetime.com. Okay, let us run this now. So let's see. One second. Are you okay? Resume. Good. Started. Okay, demo.activetime.com. It's fine now. It's just by changing one URL property in the configured properties, we are able to load a different application. Okay, cool. So admin manager waiting. Let's see. Okay. So what has happened here? The test case has failed. Let's see. Let this finish this one also. As per the documentation of Selenium, they say that the default timeout is 0, right? But I still see it's waiting for some time. Okay, so especially after, see, this is a page load time. This is anyway there. This is default is 30 seconds. Okay, so this is anyway waiting up to 30 seconds, and finally it gives up. That is fine. But page load time is different, and then the other time that is different. That is basically once the page is loaded, after that it's trying to search. Okay, but anyways, let us see whether it has thrown the exception or not. What is that exception it has thrown? What is the error here? Okay, let it complete. So as I said, this ActiveTime people are very smart. If you try to use them again and again, what they'll do is they will try to block it. Okay, so see what is happening. It is could be very slow, but sometimes if you keep on running the test on against their application, remember your IP will be blocked and you will not get any response. Okay, so I think that's what is happening. I'm not sure. Ideally, you should get what? You should get C. You should get something like this. So what is happening here? No such element, unable to locate the element. This why? Because it has timed out. It has timed out. It is not that that element is not there. Element was there, but it took a lot of time. It timed out ultimately. So now if you give the implicit wait, that is only once throughout the life cycle of the driver, then it will take care of that. See here, if I just give this, it should still work. It will anyway work. So if you give it once and then you should be good. You should be absolutely good. Okay, but only thing is the challenge with using implicit wait. You know what is the challenge? The challenge is if your application is very slow. Imagine you're running it on a slow internet speed, or application is very slow, then every step it is going to pause and wait, maybe 500 milliseconds, 1 second, 2 seconds, like that. So that is when they say implicit wait, you please don't give it too much. Why do you want to give us time out as 20 seconds? That means in case if the internet is very slow, it's going to almost wait for 20 seconds at every step, right? That is why you should be giving it as maybe safer side as 10, so that at least 10 is max. Okay, so that's what they say, right? But I will tell you from my experience, for all our modern time applications nowadays, we are running it on a good hardware. Maybe you're running it on the cloud, so even if you use 20 is also fine. The challenge will only come if your server is very low configuration server and their test environment, you deployed it there and then it is responding very slow, then implicit wait will really increase your execution time. Is that clear to you? How to use implicit wait, is that clear to you? Sukruta, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Netra, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sindhuja, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Prem? Prem, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sneha?
Yes,
Sneha?
sir.
Okay, wonderful. So you just need to know this, right? The implicit wait, how to use the implicit wait, and then where to use it only once throughout the life cycle of the driver. That's all. Now, going to the next scenario. What is the next thing? Next thing is an explicit wait. What is this explicit wait? As the name itself indicates, explicit means you are not using implicit. That means you are not using this as implicit or default. Wherever you want, there only you are going to use it. Wherever you want, there only you are going to use it. Wherever you want, there only you are going to use it. Otherwise, you are not going to use it. Right? So, see, it is like this. Imagine you are uploading a file. You select the file, click on this, and you upload a file. Once you upload a file, you might have seen it in the real scenario. It is going to show you a progress bar. Upload, and then say finally say submit. Something like that is there. Imagine. So now, how much time it is going to take to upload the file? And this submit button is till the time it will be disabled, or it will not be there. Once the complete upload is done, then only it will become enabled, and then only you'll be able to upload. Click on this button. Now, see here, how much time you have to wait here. Imagine if you give the explicit wait as 20 seconds, implicit wait as 20. Sometimes it might be 20. And if the file that you're uploading is, let us assume that it's a big file, heavy file, then what will happen? It's going to take more time. Depending on the size of the file, the amount of time it is going to take to upload the file will vary. Correct, right? So ideally what you have to do is, until the submit button becomes enabled, you wait. But again, if there's a bug, it will keep on waiting. You never know. So give some maximum timeout and say that here in this case is, your condition here is until this button becomes enabled, or until this button becomes visible, please wait. That's what it's a very smart way of using it. And you can use it wherever you want. By default, you're not setting it to every step. Okay? Remember like this. So this is what is the difference between explicit and implicit. Implicit will not check for any condition. It will just keep on polling the HTML DOM until the buttons or the HTML element becomes available. That's it. Here, the condition could be, there could be n number of conditions that you can use. You can say that wait until this button becomes enabled. wait until this button becomes clickable, wait until this text is seen on the page, like that. So this will be applicable, especially wherever you want to use it, depending on. This is one of the best examples for explicit wait. Okay, so what they say is, don't try to use implicit and explicit wait together. That's what the documentation of Selenium says, right? So why they're saying like that, why they're saying like that is, if you use implicit and explicit, the waiting time will be addition of these two. If you're already using implicit wait, initially, even though you're using explicit wait, it will wait for this implicit, that 20 seconds are over, and then it will come back and apply the explicit wait. It is like that. Ideally, they say don't use implicit and explicit wait together. Why? Because then the overall waiting time will be implicit plus explicit. But I will tell you again from my experience, it is okay for us to use, right? So because we are not doing any performance testing, and explicit wait is something that we are using only at the selected places. So there, if it is taking some 20 seconds extra, it is okay for us. But theoretically speaking, imagine if you're, maybe working on some critical applications, maybe NASA or some space research where every second matters. So then maybe you should be really careful when you're automating those kind of applications. Otherwise, for day-to-day applications, if you use implicit and explicit, it is okay, right? It is not going to make any difference. But however, initially implicit wait will be applied, and then it is going to apply explicit wait. That is why it is going to take the total time. Okay, so I will tell you how to use the explicit wait, right? How to use the explicit wait, then it is good for you. I'm removing implicit wait for now, just to show it to you how to use the explicit wait. So go to your, this is where it is, right? You are clicking on the login button. After clicking on the login button, you have to wait. So how to create the object of the explicit wait? There is a class called as WebDriver wait. WebDriver wait is equal to new WebDriver wait. Okay, so you create the object of this WebDriver wait. What are the arguments for this? You have to pass your WebDriver instance itself, and then the timeout in seconds. See, this is already in seconds. No need to use any enums and all. You created the object of this WebDriver wait. You're saying that max timeout is 10 or 20 or whatever it is. Now, how are you waiting here? You are waiting on some condition. How to use that condition? See here, wait dot. There is a method called as expected conditions. Sorry, wait dot until. You have to use until. And this until method takes an object of expected conditions. These are all various classes, okay? Expected conditions. There are a lot of inbuilt accepted conditions which are already available in this class. See, wait is a method. Wait is a reference to WebDriver wait. So wait, what is wait? Wait is an object of this class. And when you create the object of this class, you'll be able to use all the methods of this class. One of the method is until. What this until takes, it takes an object of this expected conditions, right? So see, expected conditions dot. What? These are all the inbuilt accepted conditions. What are the conditions that you want to use? See here, element to be, element, what is that? Element to be, not empty, element state to be, element should be clickable. See here, element to be clickable by locator. You can just use like this. Until this element is visible or clickable. What is that element? By locator you have to use. How do you use by locator? You have to use the entire thing. You can use like this here. By dot class name. What is the class name of the login button? This one. This is a class, right? So just copy this and wait till here. So what is the meaning of this? Meaning of this is, please wait until this element is clickable. Locator means this is a locator, either class name or ID or XPath, anything you can use. I am using class name here, you can use XPath also. Anything, all the 8 locators that we discussed, you can use them. So wait until this becomes clickable. That is what is, I'm trying to tell here. This is the condition, wait till this this link becomes clickable. But how much you have to wait? Don't wait indefinitely. The the max time out is 20 seconds. Okay, so it's going to wait up to 20 seconds after clicking on the login button. To click on the logout link, it is going to wait 20 seconds, but this is again not a physical wait. It's not a pause. The polling interval here, you know what is the polling interval? Polling time is 250 milliseconds. This is 1/4 of a second. Every 1/4 of a second, your Selenium is going to poll and check whether logout link is clickable or not. Logout link is clickable or not. Logout link is clickable or not. Imagine if after 4 attempts, that is after 1 second, logout link is loaded, then it is not going to wait for 20 seconds. That will be sufficient. After 1 second itself, it is going to come out. So why this is useful? Again, as I said, your submit button, which is going to be displayed after once you upload a file, right? So the submit button becoming enable or clickable depends on the size of the file. So that is where explicitly you have to use this. So this is, you have to use it explicitly on the locations where you want to use it. Okay, and there are a lot of conditions: element to be visible, text to be displayed. There are a lot of conditions. Mostly we will use either element to be clickable or element is visible. That's what we use. Okay, so from my experience I can tell you. But ideally implicit wait should have taken care of this, but this is very corner cases wherein you have to explicitly wait for this condition. Maybe in very corner cases like file upload or some element is taking a lot of time, that's when you use it. Okay, so how do we use it? Create object of WebDriver class, WebDriver wait class, use the until method. Until method takes an object of expected conditions. This is the syntax: expected conditions dot element to be clickable, class name dot method name static method. Okay, and this takes the locator. That's it. If I run this now, it should still work. It will anyway work because it's our local application. It is not going to take time, but still we will run it and see whether the syntax is correct or not. Let us run it now and see. Okay, is this clear, Netra, to you? Netra, how to use the explicit wait and how to use the implicit wait? Is that clear?
Yes, sir, but one small clarification over here.
Yeah, please.
Implicit waits even though that element is present before that time. For example, that element is already present.
Already present, and that's it. By default, you know, the code gets executed, one line of code is done. It comes to second line. By the time if the element is already available, that's it. Implicit wait is not applicable.
Okay.
Because the polling time is what? 500 milliseconds, right? After 500 milliseconds, it will check if it is there. That's it. It will come out. That is also a smart
complete
wait.
that. Complete.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. It is a smart wait only. It is not a physical thread dot sleep.
Okay. For in explicit wait, for example, I'm trying to upload a file and checking for that button to be enabled. So
right.
Due to some server issue, if that explicit wait what I had given 20 seconds, even though it was not that button is not available or clickable, so will it throw an error?
It will throw an error. After 20 seconds, it will throw an error saying that element not found or element not clickable, like that.
Okay, sure. So max wait we are mentioning there.
Yes.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
The polling time is 200 milliseconds and the max wait time is 20 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever you wish.
Okay, sure.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. Sukruta, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sindhuja, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Sindhuja? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. Prem, is that clear to you? Prem?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Okay, okay. Anish, is that clear to you? Anish? Anish, are you there? Prem, is that clear to you? Prem? How to use
sir.
it? Okay, excellent. Sneha, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. So this is what it is. Now, so why this is failing? Let us check that. Timeout exception. Expected condition failed. Okay. Waiting for the element to be clickable by class name, logout link. Oh, sorry. That is not the class name. Okay, see here now. This is a scenario that Netra was asking. Netra, can you see here now? What it is showing is, it is waiting for, it is already showing that error. And because the logout link that we have used, the class name is different. It is incorrect. See here, this is how the error you will get. Expected condition failed, waiting for the element to be clickable by class name is logout link. This is not the class name. What is the class name of that? Let us take the class name of that. We have given a wrong class name here. So that is basically the element name we have given. So let us quickly check what is the class name of that. Do you remember that? 127.0.0. This is our active time application. And so let us get the XPath of this or class name of this. Any see here, class is logout. This is what we should have given, right? So we have just copied it. That was a element name. So let me use it this one. This is what we should have used. Logout. So then it will work. Okay. Otherwise, after even waiting for 20 seconds, if it's not found, see, this is the error that you will get. So Netra, this is a scenario that you were asking.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Is it clear now? Okay. Good.
Yes,
That
sir.
we got that also. Let me run it now. This time it should work. One should pass, one should fail. Okay. Implicit and explicit. Is that clear? Any questions, anybody? Any questions, anybody? Now, what is this fluent wait? So fluent wait, it is a further extension of explicit wait. So what they are doing in fluent wait is they have made the pooling time, which is 250 milliseconds, which is there right by default for explicit wait. Even that is also configurable. You can put even less or more if you want. Then what else? The fluent wait is the wait wherein you can basically increase or decrease the polling interval. And then if you want to write your own expected conditions, meaning maybe you want some condition, right? Maybe you're checking for some element to be visible, displayed. They have already given a lot of conditions. If you want to still write your own conditions, then you can still go ahead and write your expected conditions, and then you can use them in the fluent wait. This is a little bit modified version of your explicit wait. I can tell you we rarely use it, very, very rarely use it. Okay, so let us not worry about that. But if somebody asks you in the interview, what is the difference between implicit wait, explicit wait, and fluent wait? You need to tell that in the fluent wait, we have an option of configuring our polling time, as well as we can write our own custom expected conditions. That is the only difference. Otherwise, rest all it is just like your expected explicit wait only. Okay, if you know this much, this should be sufficient. What you should know is difference between implicit and explicit and fluent. How to use implicit, how to use explicit. That is sufficient. Okay, is that clear now to all of you? Any questions, anybody? I don't have an example to show it to you, the fluent wait, but see here, one passed and one failed as expected, where the assertion is failing. We are good. Any questions, anybody in the synchronization? So avoid using thread.sleep and avoid using giving too much of time to implicit wait. Okay. Is that clear to all of you? Any questions, anybody? Okay, if there are no questions, then we are done with this. It's a very small topic. We should have covered it earlier. I will take the next one now. So this is the actions class. So what is this actions class? So let us try to discuss about that. At least these two will try to close it, and let's see how it goes. So actions class is a very simple and small topic. Let me explain that to you before I continue. Any questions, anybody in synchronization? Any questions? Sukruta, any questions?
No, sir.
Netra, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Sindhuja?
No, sir.
Okay. Anish, are you back? Anish?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. You have any questions?
See, we spoke about the assert tool, right? Hard assert.
Right.
So how we can use for the soft assert, because I see many were using the soft assert.
Okay,
So
good question. Yes, I'll explain that. But I would say, please don't use that soft asset. I'll tell you where it is used. I can show you an example, but I will tell you why you should not use it. Okay. But synchronization, is that clear to you, Anish?
yes.
Okay, wonderful. Prem, is that clear to you? Prem?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sneha, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And who else? Sindhuja, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. So I think that should be fine then. Let us move on to actions class. Before that, Anish has asked the question about soft assertion. What do you mean by soft assertion? I'll just tell you what is it, and then I'll show you with an example how to use it maybe later. For now, when you say soft assert, what is it? Now, we were talking about these assertions. If the assertion is failed, then what will happen? The test case will fail then and there, and we are not going to continue with the next step. This won't be executed, right? If I say that I'm just saying here completing or at the end of, or say closing the method, I'm just printing some logs here. So if the assertion fails, then what will happen is it will not come to this line, execution will stop here itself. Then test engine will pick next test case. So, but sometimes, if the test case is very big, then you will have to write multiple assertions here and there, right? So one assertion here, then maybe after some steps, one assertion, and after some step, one assertion, like that. But, if one assertion fails, execution will stop, right? But what you want to do is, you want to still continue. And then make a note here that this assertion has failed and don't stop the execution. Still continue. Go to the next step. Again do that. Again check for the assertion. If the assertion is failed, again continue. At the end, you stop the execution and then finally report all these assertions which are failed. Now that is what is called as a soft assertion. How to use it, I'll show you. But the thing is, why I'm against of using that is, if one assertion failed, imagine you logged in and your login itself is failed. You're not able to log in. Then it will continue the execution. It will try to do something else. Obviously, that will fail. Now, why do you want to continue? Right? So, in your manual testing also, whenever you are executing some test cases, how do you execute? Your steps are this. Right? You're executing description. Go open the browser, go to this, do this. This should come, this after logging in, this should come. Lot of steps are there. So everywhere there are some, results that you are verifying. Then imagine if this login itself failed. Then do you continue all the manual testing steps? You will not continue, right? So exactly like that, we should not use the soft assertions, right? If you use a soft assertion, there are highly chances that if one step fails, obviously rest of the steps, 99%, they will all fail, right? So that is why, as a black box tester, you should avoid using the soft assertions. But I'll still tell you how to use it. Okay, so I'm kind of against of that, but still you might have to use it in some scenarios. It's okay. Maybe your page is getting loaded, you're verifying for some text, that text is different, right? But still page is loaded. Just because the text is not there, you don't want to fail it. You want to verify for some other text, right? So in that case, it will still work. That case, you can make use of the soft assertions. I will tell you how to use it, but not right now. I don't have the example handy, so that's why I made a note of that, and surely I'll tell you in the tomorrow's class. Okay, soft assertions. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right, but that is a good point that you brought it. So yes. So now once we are done with this, I think we are done with the which topic we are done with this synchronization. Right now, let us move on to this actions class. So what is this actions class? I will just tell you in simple words. Don't worry too much about this. We will be using it very rarely again. Now see, sometimes what happens, you might want to use some keyboard keys. For example, I want to enter admin. After entering admin, I'm pressing tab key. And then here I'm entering manager. See, what we are doing otherwise, by default, we are identifying this element and then we are entering this. I don't want to do that. I want to, enter admin, then press tab. Come here, then here you enter password again. Again, press tab. It is coming here now, here, see? And I want to check this. I don't want to use the Selenium method, for example. I don't want to use driver dot find element by dot, ID or XPath, then click. For checkbox, what you use? For checkbox also use click method, remember. There's no checkbox separate method, okay? Checkbox also it's click only. Don't tell that, Patil sir has not taught how to use checkbox. It's just click only. So now, if the focus is here, if I press a space bar, it is selecting this, right? So now how do we press the space bar? Imagine somehow the Selenium click is failing, right? If Selenium click is failing, I've told you one more option is to use the JavaScript executor. Imagine you don't want to use JavaScript executor. Again, that is because that is a Selenium code only down the line, right? So you want to directly use the mouse and keyboard actions, right? How to do that? That's what we're trying to discuss using the actions. Now see, I press a tab here again. After pressing tab, the focus comes here. This time I want to hit the enter key. I don't want to press the, click on that button using Selenium. So how do we use these soft keys? Okay. So when it is useful is, I'll tell you from my experience. Give me a second. So, which is the example? The proper example would be, say, Flipkart. Yeah, Flipkart will be the right option. So let me show you that. See here, I'm going to use flipkart.com. Enter. So when I use flipkart.com, now this is coming. So I think it will load my, yeah, this one will come. You have to click on this. Remember that. Let us get the XPath of this first, because it's going to come every time. Okay, so what is the XPath of this? Button of class is this. Let us see whether we are able to identify this or not. / button. Do you remember about the CSS selectors? Do you remember about the CSS selectors, all of you? So what is the class of, what is the XPath for this button? This one, right? So this is a button of class, this one. / button @class equal to this one. We're able to identify this is the XPath. So what will be the CSS for this? Button dot. Why is it? It's not taking. Button dot. It should have taken, but somehow it is not taking. Really not sure. It should work basically. Now, so what I'll do is button class is equal to this. This is CSS. CSS is also working, but shortcut was not working. So if you want to use the shortcut, what you will do? Button dot. Class name is what? Dot. Okay, so this shortcut is somehow not working. In this case, yeah. But anyways, both XPath and CSS are working. Only the shortcut CSS is not working. Button @class is equal to this class. You keep this somewhere, right? Now, why I'm taking this example, I'll tell you. So now see here, I imagine that I've logged into Flipkart. Now I want to select something. What I want to select? I want to select maybe the yeah, so maybe I want to come here. See, I want to, okay, how do we select it? We want to move the mouse, right? When I move the mouse, then this whole options will be displayed, this menu items. Then maybe I want to click on, let us say, Samsung, right? So let us find the XPath of that. Now, how do we move the mouse? There is no method in Selenium. There is a method to click send keys. There is a method to, send keys is there. Then click is there. All those methods are there. There is nothing called as move to element, right? You want to move the mouse. There is no element, method like that. So if you want to do this keyboard and mouse selected operations, that is when you use what? You use the actions class. Okay, so let us do this. Perfect example is Flipkart. Now let us try to find the XPath of this. What is the XPath of this? Where is it? It is here, right? So yeah, the span of text. This I think we already automated it long back, if I'm not wrong. // span at the rate, not at the rate, text is equal to this text. Span contains text. Why are we not able to find? Do you remember what was the XPath of that we found long back? Let us find it again. Help me to find the XPath of this one. So span, and this is the text of the span. This is a li.
Sir, span SPAN.
Oh, sorry, there's a typo there. Okay. Good catch, good QA. So now we are able to find. So this is what is the XPath of the electronics. I think we have worked on that, right? So earlier, so this is what is the XPath of the electronics. Now what is that we want to do after this? We want to, maybe once we move the mouse here, we want to click on Samsung. What is the XPath of Samsung? Select. It can still show you like that. Okay, so the title is Samsung. I don't know whether it will show or not, but let us find it. //e @ title is equal to Samsung. Two are there, so better not use it. Right? Two are there means it will find two. By default, anyway, it will click on the first one, but let us not go with that. Then what else we have to use? We have to use the href. Now, can you see here what is the href here? Href is /Samsung mobile. You know this one, right? So this is what it is. So ideally href should start from http:// then the complete URL. So this is the base URL, and to that they are appending this. When they give /Samsung like this, that means the base URL they are appending. That's what is the meaning. So now what we will do is we will say that we will just say that href contains this. Okay, or else what was that? Samsung, right? So go here and then see there li multiple li's are there, right? So I will say that UL of class this. Let's see that. @class @class is equal to this class.
Class double S.
Yes. Sorry, my keyboard is I'm using a wireless keyboard. It's maybe a little slow. So how many are there? 24. Why 25? Because everywhere there is a class here. Right? That's why it's taken 25. Ideally, where you have to come from electronics. From there, you will be able to find it. Let us do that. Okay. So anyway, you're good in XPath. I will not spend time here. Ideally, you should take this and then come to the child of that. Anyway, you know all that. So for now, what I want to do is just to save the time, I will just use this. Okay. I will use what? I will use the XPath here. I mean the href here. So what we'll do here is I will just use this href. Okay. So where is the href? This is the href, right? Let us click on this. Copy this. Now see what I will do. I will say this is the href that I've copied. This is the href. So what I'll do here is I will use this one. Contains this. That should work, right? So I will just go to the end of that. Then, this is what it is, right? So let me copy this. This is the href which contains this. I will use it. So how to use it? Control F //e. What is it? Href, right? Contains. How to use contains with respect to the attributes? Contains @href is equal to this. Contains closed. This is closed. Just check, are we missing anything here? Contains @href, comma. Syntax. See, so this is what is the XPath of that. Okay, containing that href. That's what I'm trying to say. You got the one XPath. So we are good. We got all the three XPaths, right? So what is that we have to do now? How do we use this? The actions class. Let us quickly see that. Very, very simple. One example I'll take it. And I will say here in my test itself, in my login itself, what I will do, I will write another test. Just copy this. It's all copy paste from now. Once you have your framework ready, one test case is automated, then rest all becomes very simple, believe me. So now here I'm saying here action class move mouse. Okay, this is my method. So what I want to do by default, where it will be taking me, to activetime.com. So what I will do now, I want to go to driver.get. I want to load this page once again. What page I want to load? I want to load flipkart.com. See, whatever page is already there on the top of it, it load this page. That's it. Then what I want to do, driver dot find element dot by dot xpath. What is xpath? I want to click on that close button, right? Driver dot find element by dot xpath dot click. So which element we have to click? We want to click on that close button, which will come every time, right after logging in. So I will click on that. So this is the element. Let us click on that. We clicked on that. After clicking on that, what we want to do, we want to move the mouse over here. So for that, how to do it is, I'm just commenting my rest of the other two test cases, which we don't want to run now. We want to run only the actions class related one. So for handling all the mouse and keyboard related activities, Selenium people have given a class called as actions. That's it. You just create an object of that, just like your select class, where you will create an object of the select class to handle your drop down box, right? Just like that. Actions, action is equal to new actions of what you have to pass. You have to pass the driver instance to it. This is how the actions class is. You just import the actions class. Import r.openincubator.selenium.interactions. This is a package, you imported it. Create the object of the actions class. The constructor is the whole driver itself. That means now we can control the driver using the mouse movements also. Now what is the methods here? Action dot. There is a method called as move to elements here. So simple. Move to element, web element. So what is the web element where you want to move the mouse? We already have the XPath of this electronics. This is where we want to move the mouse. This is a XPath. This is not a web element. Create a web element of it. How to create a web element? Web element, say electronics tab. Electronics tab is equal to driver dot find element by dot XPath. Use the XPath. That's it. You got the web element now. So that means for this web element, you want to move the mouse. Import the web element. Onto this web element, you want to move the mouse. Just say action dot move to element. This is the web element. Then at the end, you have to use another method called as perform. Please don't forget this. Whenever you use any method of actions class, they will again give you an object of actions class. Okay. So the way is you use the method and then you say perform. Then only it will perform that method. Okay. So again, you have to use this method, and on the top of it, use perform. That is how you use it. And once you move that mouse, just to show it to you, I'm using thread.sleep here. Just to show it to you again. Okay. So whether it is waiting there or not. Right, so let us use that. I will change it to exception so that it can handle any exception. Right, and then after moving the mouse, I want to click on the web element. Now this time, which one I want to click? I want to click on this XPath. That is this one. Right, so I moved my mouse, and then after that, I want to click on this web element. That is the Samsung tab. Dot click. This is your click, just like a regular click now. After that, maybe we are not writing any results, maybe we are not doing anything, just for show it. Otherwise, it will close the browser immediately. That's why I'm just waiting here once again for 3 seconds, just to show it to you. So is that clear? What we have to do to handle any actions class method, create the object of the actions class, and then say use the actions class method. And after every method of actions class, you have to use perform. Move to element is a method wherein you are waiting. Let us quickly run it and see first and see whether it's working or not. Let us see this. All right, so it is now going to load active time, and after that we are reloading the flipkart.com page on that, and then we are trying to move the mouse and then click on the Samsung. Keep a watch. It is loading now. Yeah. Okay, what is happening? It is loading activetime.com. That is our URL coming from the configured properties file. And after that, we will be loading what? Flipkart.com. Right, so let's see. See here, it is. Okay, now see, it is loading. We are not logging in. Right, so after this, it is loading flipkart.com, and once the page, that login button comes, it will click on that. Click. Now keep a watch. See, move the mouse to electronics. We are waiting for 2 seconds. Then it clicked on Samsung. Now we are into Samsung. Right, I'm waiting here and then closing it. Okay, this is how we basically use the actions class. Zero failure. There are multiple options, the multiple ways of doing this. Now see, you come here, right? You move the mouse. Then what we are doing, we're clicking on this. Otherwise, once you move the mouse, so you can also press. You want to press the. Okay, where are we now? Maybe I don't want to move the mouse. I want to click on this. Once I or move my mouse, sometimes you might see an option. There's an option to press the down arrow like this. Okay, even sometimes you may want to scroll down like this. See here, it is scrolling down. All these cases also you can use the actions class. Okay, I'll show you that how to use it. But is this example clear to all of you? How to use the actions class? One example, if it is clear, that's sufficient. Netra, is it clear to you? Netra?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. Sukruta, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Sneha, is it clear to you?
Yes,
Sneha?
sir.
Okay. Prem, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. And who else? Sindhuja, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anish?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. And who else is there? Prem, did I ask you? Is that clear to you, Prem?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So this is what it is. So now let us use some other methods, okay, just to show it to you. Maybe 1 or 2 methods. I'll not be discussing too much on this because these are very rarely used. Only in case if you require, you use them. Otherwise, mostly Selenium click itself is sufficient. Okay, so now I'm going to use another method here, which is nothing but your active time only. I will say login 003 actions class, just to differentiate it. So I'm saying here launch active time. After launching active time, what are we trying to do? So what we will try to do? So I want to enter admin. Okay, so let us enter admin. How to enter admin? We have anyway code here. I will not waste time. I'll take it from this. I'm entering admin, right? So I'm entering admin. And after entering admin, okay, send keys this one, and then username is, I will hard code it for now as admin. Right, and after entering admin, what I want to do, I want to press the tab key. How do I press the tab key? For pressing the tab key, once again you have to create the objects of the action class. As simple as that, right? Create the object of the action class, then say action dot, what method you want to use. You want to use Basically, what is that you want to do now? I have entered admin. After that, I want to press the tab. How to use tab is, see here, actions dot. There is a method called as send keys. So send keys is basically you can either send a sequence of characters or you can basically use some other soft keys. I'll show you this send keys. This is the send keys method of the actions class. Don't get confused. We are not using the send keys method of the web element. We are using the send keys method of the actions class. So what is the target? Where do we want to send the keys? Which is the web element? From this web element. What is our web element? This is our web element. That means from this web element, which keys you want to send. From username, I want to send which keys. There is a enum again for that. Keys dot. If you press, you will get lot of keys. Which keys you want to send? Tab. See here? That means from that particular web element, I want to press a tab key. That's what is the meaning. As I said, dot perform, you have to use it at the end. That means enter the admin and there from there you press the tab key. That's what is the meaning. See, there is an overloaded method also. You don't have to use the entire web element and from there you press tab. You can just say action dot send keys. Send keys. What do you want to send? Keys dot tab. Directly you can write like this also. Perform. So they have given some overloaded methods. See, no matter wherever you are, what is the okay? Okay, let me show it to you. Then you will understand. See, I'm not entering the admin username here. I'm just saying from admin you press tab. That means where it should come now. It should come to password, right? I'm not entered anything here. We are here by default. I'm saying that from this web element press a tab. That means it will come here. That is what we are trying to do now. Without entering anything, I'm just saying from admin you come press a tab. Then it should come to password. Right? So that is what is the meaning. I'm using here thread.sleep so that I can wait and show it to you. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? There are overloaded methods. If you're sure that you are already onto a particular element, from there if you want to press. Now, imagine by default, okay, I don't know where is the default location. Once the page got slowed in, page is loaded, I don't know whether the focus will be here or here or here. We don't know. I'm saying that use this web element and from there you press a tab. That means come here. That's what I'm trying to say. Right? So now let us do that and run this and see. I will just run it as it is. I will not use testng. You can use testng also. You can use POM also. I will use POM now this time. What is the difference? The difference is in case if you have changed any dependencies, it will not pick if you use testng. If you use POM, it will pick the latest dependencies also. See here and see what is happening. It is trying to. Okay, can you see now? The focus has come to the password field. How it has come? It has just come because we are using the overloaded method of send keys, which is present in the actions class, and then we are saying that from this element press a tab key. Now we are sure that we are not we are seeing the enter admin here. After entering the admin, the focus will be there only, right? And there I am saying please use the tab key. So we are already entering the text here. That means the focus will be by default into that. From there I'm saying that use tab key. Now see the difference here, what happens? Understand the difference. One is from an element I'm pressing tab. No matter wherever is that element, from that element I'm pressing tab. Here I'm saying I'm already entering into text into that. That means the focus will be here. From here you press the tab. See here, the focus has come. Why the focus has come? We are pressing tab. Now, what I will do? Focus has come, we have pressed tab, we are already into password field now. Then I'm saying here what? I'm saying here, just here, action dot send keys. What is the sequence of characters I want to send manager? So I'm using the send keys method of the actions class. Little be careful here. And Selenium by default says that, the documentation says that if you use actions class method, it is sometimes not guaranteed. It depends on the browser. Better to use the web element methods. So you are not supposed to use the actions class method. Only in case if you want to press move the mouse or down arrow, up arrow, that time you can use it. Otherwise, please don't use it, is what the documentation says. So I am entering manager. After entering manager, I am again pressing tab. After entering the tab, where the focus will come now? We enter manager, press tab, the focus will come here. Here I want to press the space bar now. How to press the space bar? For that, the soft key is what? Instead of this, see here, I will say what? Action dot send keys. Which keys I want to send? Keys dot space dot perform. I have pressed space bar, right? And after that, again I'm pressing tab. Now the focus will come to submit button, and there I'm saying here, please press enter. How to press enter? Keys dot enter. Enter will be there. See, all the keys are there. Okay, so you can press any keys that you want. So now what I'm doing here is, without using any web element, only one web element we've used. Enter text. From there I'm moving, and then again I'm entering text directly like this, and then tab, spacebar, tab, enter. Ideally it should all work. Let us see. So this is how we use the actions class. Okay, so using actions class, you can also, press a lot of keys. Okay, I'll show you that. What are the other uses of actions class? See here, now we're able to log in. How is this possible without even identifying the element? We are just using soft keys. That's all. That is why it is possible. Okay, see, in some applications you will have something called as a context menu. You know what is a context menu? Context menu means, any idea, anybody, what is a context menu? Yeah, Sindhuja, you have any idea what is a context menu? Context menu means right click. When you do a right click, see, this is what comes, right? So this is what is called as a context menu. Some applications will have this. You can press a right click and then select an option from there. Now this is the default option for any web, browser based element. But some applications, developers also would have coded for the context menu. Context menu means right click. See here, I'm here now. I do a right click here. What it will come? This will come, right? I want to do a right click and then maybe select some item here. See the option here, right click. Then I'm pressing a right arrow, then down arrow, down arrow, down arrow, down arrow, like this, and then select this. Maybe in some applications you might see like this. Has anybody seen a context menu based application? Sindhuja, have you seen that? Sindhuja, have you seen this context based applications?
No, sir.
Sukruta, have you seen it by any chance?
Sir.
Okay, Netra?
No, sir.
Okay, Prem, have you seen it?
No, sir.
Oh, none of you have seen. Okay. Sneha, have you seen it?
No, sir.
All right. Anish, how about you?
No, I didn't see that.
Okay. So some applications will have it. Maybe in case, imagine you have that, how do you resolve it? Let us try to see that. Okay. So I will show you a small option for that. So what we have to do, instead of click or tab, what you have to do, you have to use, context click. There is a method called as context click. Let us use that. How to use the context click? Now, see here, what I will do is I will use the same code. Okay, I don't want to spend time here. I will just comment it out. I will share this whole method to you. Don't worry.
With dress up.
So now what we will do here is we will basically use the context click. Okay, so how to use the context click is I'm just commenting it out, and then once I enter send keys, after that, see here what I'm doing here. action dot context click. See here? Wherever the position is there only I'm doing context click. Or if you want to do it from a web element, you can do it just like the way we did it for the tab. Context click I'm doing. Dot perform. Don't forget that. That means you have done a context click. After that, I'm doing a thread.c. Just to show it to you again, okay? Context click I've done. Then what I want to do after that, I want to do what? A down arrow. Action dot send keys is dot, there's an option called as down, arrow down. See here? Down is there, arrow down is there. One are, I don't know why they're given both. Okay, there is a down, a page down is there. That is a page down. Down is page down. Arrow down is your down arrow. Press this. Perform. After that, again wait for some time just to show it to you. Again press the down arrow. Let us see whether this is working or not. Yeah, quickly let us see this. I will quickly run this and show it to you. So understand the code. What we're trying to do is from here I'm doing a context click and then saying down, down, down like this. Let us see. Keep a watch. Okay, I don't know where it has done the context click, but it has done the context click somewhere for sure. Yeah, ideally it should have done it there. But if it is not doing, exactly where you want, then ideal would be to use a web element and then, do that. So how to do that is this one, because the send keys also has this option. Here, what I'll do is I will say context click. Context click also has another overloaded method on the web element. Which web element? This web element. This web element, driver dot find element by locator. This one, you got a web element, right? From here, you do what? A context click. You got the whole web element now, and then say dot perform. Dot one more is required. Dot perform. Yeah. So that means I'm saying that from this web element you do a context click. Hopefully this should work now. Let's see. Again, as I said, actions class is something that you have to use only when it is required. Otherwise, see, there's no point of using Selenium here, right? You're not identifying any locator. You're not doing anything. You're directly pressing tab and enter and all that. See here. Okay, down arrow, down arrow. So I think it has come. Press down arrow twice. It has come here. Okay, so maybe if you press another 3-4 down arrows, it might come to spell check. Okay, so this is how you use most of the actions class method, either right click, context click, things like that. Yeah. So now I will show you one small final thing in the actions class. What is that? That is, I am commenting this code, hoping that you will make use of this, as it is. Now, what is the other code that I want to show is the third example that I want to show in actions class is move to element. We have seen, right? So we have seen move to element. We have seen send keys. We have seen how to press down arrow and some tab keys and enter keys, space key and all that. Now one more thing that I would like to show is, maybe imagine you are here. Driver dot find element by dot xpath and then send keys this, right? Or I don't want to enter keys. I want to come here and click on this. That means I'm clicking on the username field. After clicking on the username field, what I want to do? I want to enter admin in the capital case. That means holding shift key I want to enter. How do you enter? Holding shift key you can enter, right? So how to do that? You are holding shift key and then passing the keys. How to do that? Just see here. Create the object of the actions class again. And then here you say action dot. Okay. There is an option here called as key up. Use this key up. What is the meaning of key up? Means it is going to hold that key. Up means it's not, don't think that up, up arrow. It is going to hold that key. Okay. Yeah. So actions dot. Yeah. So what was that? Sorry. Actions dot. Yeah. Okay. Let me use it. I've not used it for long days. Let us see. Actions dot key up. Which key you want to send again? Keys dot. What you want to do here? You want to choose it from a enum. Keys dot. Yep. Keys dot. Which key you want to press? You want to press shift. When you press shift, what happens? Shift means it is pressed. It is not released now. Just here I'm saying that key up means press that and hold it. That's what is the meaning. Dot. Again I'm seeing send keys. This time I'm entering admin. Admin I'm entering in the lower case. Dot perform. Okay. Wait. Dot. Send keys. Keys dot. Send keys. Sorry. This is a very rare combination. I'm just trying to tell you. After entering admin, I want to say dot key down. Key down. Is dot shift. So I will explain what is that I'm trying to do here. And say dot. So it is like I'm saying that. Okay, click on this admin button. I mean username field. It is clicked on this. Then I'm saying hold shift key. Then enter admin. Then enter admin in the smaller case. So if you are holding shift key and then entering this, what it will become? It will become uppercase, right? And after that, I'm trying to say release that shift key. That's what is the meaning. Hold shift key, enter admin in smaller case, it should enter in uppercase and then release that key. That's what is the meaning. Okay. Again, I'm not sure how far it will work, but let us see. So it is like if you want to enter something in the uppercase, this is how you do it. You should have given admin in the uppercase. That itself will work. Okay, but still, in case if you want to hold shift key and then enter something like this, how to do that? It's what we are discussing. Rare scenario, but if somebody asks in the interview, how do you enter a text in the uppercase? Then you can say that using the actions class. Okay, I'm not. Okay, can you see here? See what we are doing here? I'm saying hold key, that is hold shift key, then enter admin in smaller case, and then release shift key. Then because you are holding the shift key, it has become what? Uppercase. Is that clear to you? Okay, so this is how you use it. This is how you use it. One final example I will tell, but I will not show, I will not run that. Actions dot send keys. Send keys dot. You tell me what happens now. Keys dot control dot send keys. Keys dot alt dot send keys. Keys dot delete dot perform. So what is the meaning of this? Can you think and tell me what is that we are trying to do here? I am trying to enter control. I'm trying to enter alt and then I'm trying to enter delete. Control alt delete will basically lock your machine, right? So ideally this is what should happen. So whenever you are using multiple operations like this, what you have to do is you have to use another method called as build. It will build all these operations and then say perform. These are available, that's why we should learn. Ideally we will not use it, but people might ask you in the interview. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build this combination. What is the combination I'm trying to build? Control alt delete. I'm trying to build this and then I'm saying perform. So if I run this, ideally it should lock my machine. I'm not sure whether it will work or not. I've not used it, to be very frank, but this is how to lock your machine. Let us run this and see whether it's getting locked or not. I'm little hesitant because if it locks, my Zoom might get disconnected. So that's why I'm not running it. You can run it on your side later on. Okay. So, but this is how you use it. This is holding this and then doing this. This is all of them doing what? One shot. Control Alt Delete, pressing together. Build and press them. That's what is the meaning. So you should know this code. As I said, again, I'm not sure when we use it and to what extent we use it, but this is how you use the actions class. Is that clear? Any questions, anybody? How to use the actions class? Is that clear to you? Sindhuja, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sukruta, is that clear to you? Sukruta? Sukruta, is that clear to you? Are you there? Sneha, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Prem, is that clear to you? How to use the actions class? And how to do mouse movements like right keys, left keys, I mean context like down arrow, up arrow, like that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anish, is that clear to you?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sindhuja, is that clear to you? Sindhuja?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sukruta, is that clear to you? Sukruta, are you there? Maybe you're speaking on mute. Sukruta, I can't hear you. I still cannot hear you. You are talking, but I cannot hear you, maybe. Okay, so Sukruta is also fine. I assume it is fine. Yeah, she's pinking, saying that yes, it is fine with her also. So now we have to spend just another some time to discuss the next topic. The next topic is page object model. So what I'll do is I will not discuss that. It's already close to 2 o'clock now. We are spending a lot of time, and I should have actually discussed that, believe me. So these are all very small topics, 10 minutes topics, and soft assertions is again a small topic. Page object model is a big topic. I should have actually completed this, but I'm not covering this today. It's already 2 o'clock. We're tired. I'm tired. So we will take that in the tomorrow's class. But before to that, what I would want you to do is, I want you to go through my video. I will discuss the page object model in the tomorrow's class, don't worry. I will just go here and then I'll go to YouTube, and then I don't know how many of you have really subscribed to my channel. Please subscribe in case if you have not subscribed, because down the line I have a lot of plans to upload a lot of videos related to testing. So please do that. I am not keeping a watch. Patil Java Selenium. Search my channel, and you should be getting my channel. I've already logged in. That's why I'm as a owner, I'm able to see this. I can edit and all that. So there is a video that I created some 2 years back on the page object model framework. That is the same topic that I know we are supposed to discuss. We were supposed to discuss now. So what I would want you all of you to do is, please go through this. There are close to 12,000 views already crossed, for this, and a lot of people have appreciated and they learned page object model using this video. I'm not saying that I'll not be teaching that. I will. This is my voice. Believe me, I have not gone through these comments and all since long time. So a lot of people have commented from various parts of the world. So what I would want you to do is go through this video before you come to the tomorrow's class, and then I'll explain that to you. It will be very easy for you to understand that. Okay. So, and then quickly we will complete the rest of the topics. We will complete this, and then we will complete these ones very, very fast. Maybe before we go to the break, we will be able to complete all this. And then Jenkins and Git, and then still these topics will be still left over. We will see how it goes. Yeah, so, but no hurry. So I'm little tired and worked a little late in the night yesterday. So otherwise I would have completed this and these ones also, but it's okay. So we will take this in the first of tomorrow, and then in the second half we will try to take these two. Then these two topics will be left over. That we will see maybe, yeah, one more session next week, or maybe I'll create some videos and share that with you. You can refer them, you can learn them. But anyways, I'm not saying I'm skipping all them. Right? So I'm still saying we'll cover all of that. Don't worry. Yeah. So tomorrow, first thing is we'll cover these things quickly in the first half before the break, and then after the break, these two topics. And then these two can be still learned using my videos, and maybe next week, Saturday, we'll meet for some time, 2 hours like that. That should be it. So that it will give you some more time to practice, and if you have any doubts and all, we can take that the next week also. Okay, that we will discuss only in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so I will stop here. I want you to please practice Log4j synchronization and action class. I'll upload the video in the YouTube. I'll share the code over Google Drive. Please practice and then go to my YouTube channel and understand the page object model video, so that, and if you tell me if you're able to understand using that video, that will help me to put some videos down the line and share it with you, so that whether you're able to learn from my video or not. Okay. With that, I am yeah, so stopping the session for today.